why would we do this? What activity would you be doing when you listen to this podcast?
I would probably be post masturbation, pre fall asleep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So do you listen to podcasts to go to sleep?
I do. I like them to lull me. Yeah.
I've been doing that.
But actually for a good few years now, I kind of have a strict, sometimes I'll deviate with some like science-based things, but pretty much fairy tales. I put myself to fairy tales, put myself to sleep every night.
Yeah. My favorites to go to sleep are Stuff You Should Know or the Bob Saget podcast.
Oh, you would.
You
would. You would. And I guess too, if people are coming in blind, I guess, if we're videotaping this as well. So if you're watching and people say, oh, that's that person.
Yeah.
I haven't even said who I am yet to those listeners.
Yeah. Well, it'll probably be in the title that they'd click on.
That's true.
They probably would know.
And some people right now might be like, oh, I hear two voices. Maybe that one's that one. And maybe that one's that one.
Yeah.
And they're probably like even putting a mental picture together, everything too. Yeah.
Wow.
I wonder what I look like to you listening right now.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna put this on YouTube and then maybe like Bandcamp as well. So there'll be a strictly audio.
Yeah.
I
support that. That.
I appreciate you coming down and so it's, are we, is it 2 a.m. yet? It's like 1 something.
I got off work this evening at midnight. Takes me I went and I drove slow because I've never serviced my my work van that I drive around, squeegee mobile. And I am not even sure if it's like gonna break down soon or not. Because I haven't driven. I bought a car this past year of 2020, and last year of 2020, and previous to that, for 15 years, I just rode my bicycle and walked around. So at times it's like, oh, is this how transmissions work, or is my transmission going? Sometimes I can go 90 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour. Other times, it like makes noises that sound weird. But I didn't grow up in car culture, so I don't really know. But long story short, I drove slow. Just took my time getting home, and then got some pants, a microphone, came here, we hung out, jammed, did headstands, farted. So it's probably, I don't know, 2:30.
Checked all the boxes.
Checked all the boxes, yeah. Somewhere in that range. So yeah, a little nocturnal interview.
Yeah, I've always been a night owl, but this pandemic world, it's really brought it out of me.
You inspired me with your night owl. You were actually a night owl. I always loved night owls. I loved owls because they're a symbol of wisdom. And I always would point out to people, they're so wise, but they get all their work done at night. And so some people stay up late and do and that's it. But I would talk to you after you'd wake up at like 5 in the evening, and you tell me how you were hiking mountains all night and recording albums and doing a lot of stuff. So hats off.
Yeah.
Hats off to you on your...
That wasn't most nights. Most nights was YouTube rabbit holes and IPAs and,
Yep.
but I don't know. Yeah, I guess this year has been an experiment. And for me, all this newfound free time, having to create my own structure to my life and my own direction. And I wasn't up for the task, I almost let it get away from me a little bit.
It's wonderful that we've given ourselves this platform to just open to state with some sort of certainty, or talk about what has been observed by other people. Because there was times when I felt my life was just spiraling, just into oblivion, and then I would look 3 blocks away and see this night owl who it just seemed to be. I just saw like Shawnee is taking form. Like Shawnee is taking 2020 by storm. And if that's all, like life in the course of a day, even a lot of times, I'll melt down, Phoenix, rise, have those waves of euphoria, and then spill my drink, and then just remember that despair is really the way to go. But then remember my blind grandma, how she would just get such a kick out of the fact that I live in Montana and that I'm pretty much just living a life of miracles in a pseudo heaven state anyway. And hell is what you make it. Heaven is what you go through to get there, or something like that. Yeah. Yeah, I think you actually flip it. I think it's heaven is what you make it. Hell is what you go through to get there. But
it works both ways.
but and I won't say it's. I actually even I'll invent hells for myself because you might as well just have it and get all around, get as much experience as you can.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's another way to look at what I'm saying is like I used to externalize all the things that I was bummed out about and blame it on work or whatnot, or blame it on and yet now my life is basically organized by myself, so I have no one to blame for the all the I don't know the despair that I feel maybe, or the feeling a lack of control.
I used to be very cool with the whole like control is the absurd illusion.
Absolutely.
And then it's really funny. I think like a lot of people, there was a point in my life, like maybe 2 years ago, I thought I was in control. And then I think like once I like reflected on top of that mountain, and had that, I am in control of things. I came down from the mountain, and what do you know? All my cheese just got moved all over the place. I said, oh yes, that's right. Foolish to think, but fun to think as well. And it is. I would say though, I think if there is any message, don't despair. Don't despair. I love animals. I love if I meet people. I do really. I like to cut the bullshit, and I like to just get right to it and ask you, what's your favorite animal? Because otherwise, one, I won't really remember your name if I don't associate something with it. Like, oh, Joey likes turtles. Okay, cool. Instead of just, Joey's just another person that walks by me. But one, also, too, if you state that if you don't have a favorite, you can just get the fuck out of my life. Because your sex is not going to be any good. And that's, what really drives us. But if you like an interesting animal, then chances are we like other things. But animals, I was just reflecting on this quote. Walt Whitman said, aren't the animals great? You will never see an animal keeping itself up at night, torturing himself over its wrongdoings and its doubts. And humans are animals, dude.
Yeah. For all the ways that we view ourselves as superior, there's a lot of downsides to being a human that your average animal is not going to have to deal with.
I do love that. This. I still feel like we're in the preamble right now.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
And I was, I was gonna say if we do get in, I mean, I can, and I like how we just left this free form. I guess this might be a good time. Shane and Sean. Just going freeform. If you haven't guessed yet, folks, this is Shane, and
oh, you want me to say my name? I thought you were going to say it.
No, I was thinking in my head that you would say, and this is Sean.
Sean here.
There we go. But yeah, I am. I'm a great example of. I mean, I've done just about everything. Like, I've done so many things wrong, egregious errors, fucked up, dropped the ball, made plans and carried them out, and only to have like faulty plans, whatever. But yet, kind kind of also, like kind of always on top. Always also,
Yeah.
like, seemingly, yeah. And then, like I said too, like I'll just bounce between like being convinced like, oh, I'm in heaven right now, and like, oh my gosh, you're nothing good whatsoever. And maybe if any of what we've been saying is connect with anybody, that's probably what led you to this in the first place and why you're still listening. So I just hope that in our freeformness, we kind of even just like vibe that.
Yeah. I mean, our podcasts are just weird. Like, I find myself listening to them a lot, but I don't know why. Usually it's just like a couple of guys just bullshitting.
Yeah, the best ones. And yeah, I like, and that's, I mean, it's in everything, like the golden rule. I mean, love one another is a great golden rule. Be kind, great golden rule. But I think really like my golden rule of golden rules is it's not what you're doing. It's how you're doing it.
Interesting.
And that's with podcasts. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. It does not matter what you're talking about. It's how you're talking about it, how you're cracking jokes about it. It's not the plot. It's not the plot. It's the adjectives and verbs and adverbs of the sentences. I mean, To Kill a Mockingbird is not about an innocent black man on trial for a crime he didn't commit. It's about life. In every paragraph. I love that's one book. There's a lot of books that are great like that. I think they call them literature. But that's a book any time of day. Just pull out a paragraph, and I'm always glad that I read that paragraph.
That's good to know.
Yeah, and even I do. Okay, I do want to. May I at this point?
Yeah.
Have my first story of
Please.
Of maybe many.
Yeah. So that.
Okay. So where I adopted. It's not what you're doing. It's how you're doing it. Was when I was committing a crime on federal property in front of a policeman. And I wanted to do the crime, but I didn't want to go to federal prison if I was caught doing it. And this person that I was with was kind of one of those like people that come into your life very briefly and maybe for the sole purpose of delivering you, a golden rule kind of scenario. And this person saw my apprehension, but also saw my eagerness. And he told me, he said, "Hey, we might be just 20 feet away from that policeman, smoking a blunt in 2005, where that was.
It was a different time.
It was a different time. It was New York City. There's no green positivity there, and we were sitting on the steps of the New York post office, and it's like Friday. It's rush hour. I was working this summer camp in the Bronx at the time, and I was trying to get back to Philly, where my home was. To catch, I think Ben Harper and the Innocent Criminals were throwing a show, and so I was going to take a train down. I had time to kill, and I walk up the steps to the New York post office, which is right across the street from Penn Station in New York, and there's it's like the rocky steps. It's very Greek neoclassical architecture. It's like a whole city block. It's the post office of New York City, and there's probably maybe 120 stairs, and we're on like the 65th stair. Mm-hmm. We being me and these awesome, New York City dudes who gathered. One looked almost like professional BMXers. So anyone who has any concept of what they think a professional BMXer looks like, there was like 4 of them, and one dude who was obviously like a dude on the street, but in that like extreme kind of cool. New York City BMX pro looking guys. None of them had bikes. I don't know if any of them were BMX riders. But I had my headphones on, was chilling out, saw these guys gather behind me, and like could smell a little herbage, could hear the crack of the blunt getting open, and I had a $5 bill in my pocket, and I was about to take a train from New York to Philly and go see a concert. I was definitely trying to get in on that. So I waited until my sixth or seventh, whatever, sense kicked in.
The weed sense.
Exactly.
The drug sense.
Yep. And just before the lighter flicked, I turn around and say, "Oh, you guys got yo, I got 5. Can I get hits?" And I stepped correct. And they're like, yeah, come on, like scooch back a step. And so I'm feeling not super duper awkward. They're basically like, all right, this guy will we'll give you hits, we'll take your 5, and then you'll be on your way. And so when it got to me, I'm just looking at the cop. That's when he gets delivered, because apparently at that time the dude on the street knew the penalty was, I don't know, 5 to 10. Wow. And so that's when he told me, he's like, yeah, like we might be doing something that could land us 5 to 10 and federal lockup. But if you look at him, he's down there conducting traffic, holding it down, protecting and serving. We're just who he's protecting and serving. If you don't do anything wrong, you're not doing anything wrong. You're not a convict if you're not convicted. And then he dropped, it's not what you're doing. It's how you're doing it. Just do what you just be natural.
Wow. Amen.
And then it's so funny. It's so funny. You're anything. Like, if you ever have any hangups about that whole, what do you do? That question, what do you do? Sometimes I can put you in a place of I only, I don't know. Sometimes
right.
I just, little me. Dude, and we've all been there. Cat Williams had a bit on every day I'm hustling. He was talking about the dude running the McDonald's drive-through at night, understaffed, and he could be like, yo, I hate my life, but instead he's like, yo, I run this. I'm the McDonald's dude, holding it down, taking the order, dropping the fries, doing the shit. It doesn't anybody could come in there and be like, yo, you're the man right now, dog.
Absolutely.
You're hooking it up. You're the G. Or he could be like, I only work at McDonald's, whatever. Yeah. It's not what you're doing. It's not.
So many people tie their self-worth to their career or whatever.
Right.
And it's just not how it should be.
Yeah. What do you do? It fully.
Yeah.
Bam. What do you do? Yeah. Anything I want with Steez.
Yeah, that reminds me of I forget where I heard this, but it's it's just this interesting quote that I've been thinking about a lot. It's time. Most people say time is the most valuable thing ever, but really attention is the most valuable thing. What you are actually putting your energy into with your time. Kind of a similar vibe.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah.
Yep. It's in the end, the love you take, it's got a reciprocal relationship.
Yeah.
It's the love you make, It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. All right, preamble. That was a good preamble. Yeah, all right.
So in 05.
05.
How old were you at that point?
Let's see. That was 19.
Wow.
19.
How long had you been abusing drugs?
You stop that. You take that back. Why? Hold on. You've just painted this. Journalism just fell off the charts right here. That you just presumed. That was.
I was just thinking about the Jordan Demander stand-up that I saw earlier. Just talking about abusing substances and
I guess
just framing it in a positive light, all the substances that he loves. He loves to abuse weed. You never hear anyone say that.
Right. And it's so funny too, because growing up fully in the non-weed is okay. Yeah. And back when the gangster rappers, or something that would smoking weed in the streets. Nas, yeah. If I ruled the world, imagine smoking the weed in the streets without cops harassing. That was in 94. That was actually yeah. if I ruled the world. And now it's like finally realized for like why we actually did. Because I gravitated towards, I mean, just all things psychedelic. Really, that is, from when I was a little kid, spinning tops. I was one of those kids spinning anything that spun. I was way into. I was always, I mean, Ninja Turtles to the max. What were some? Oh, and like a lot of the the cartoons and stuff. I always liked it weird, trippy. And then I guess my first dabbles, the old Coke can nickel bag, cough all it out and ruin it for your friends, who had hits after you.
That's one of those images that
and
most people have.
And I definitely, I mean, so there is use, and I got no problem admitting I've abused lots of things. But so at that point, I guess my weed journey began before I started taking it. I knew, like Dare class, I was like, yo, this all sounds. They made weed sound like acid, and they made acid sound like DMT, and they never even talked about DMT. But I definitely like what Dare class told me about all the drugs really made me want to do them.
Absolutely.
Like a lot of people. Yeah. And even like the freak out factor where I was like, yo, at the time, I didn't really get into like horror films and stuff like that. But I was totally okay with a good old freak out.
Yeah. So growing up, was weed hard to get?
To a certain extent, there was like the guys, and like also hard to get like a glass pipe.
Yes,
you'd have to go to the place and have the code words, and then there was just like I was watching some people lined up out of I don't know if it was Double Dogs, one of the many weed shops in Missoula, because I guess there's a brand of weed strains, Cookies. Cookies is a brand now, and they came out. I don't know. They're like dropping their line, and there was people lined up because it was Cookie Day, and I was cracking up because I bet you it's all super dank. I mean, store bought weed these days is astronaut shit, and delicious. I mean, I got this bag of Skittles. It's called. It is like it gets you high.
Yeah,
it gets you high. But back in the day though, there was dank middies swag. And then there would be like high middies, low mids. And swag was brick weed, whatever, but pretty much in the Philadelphia, I don't know if it was like the greater mid-Atlantic region, and of course I didn't, and even in different hoods, I don't know, like there were like kind bud and stuff like that, like it was just dank. Sometimes I'd be like, yo, I got some super dank. But it was pretty much dank greens would be like $60, for an eighth bag.
That's pretty steep.
$20 a G. And it would be like 3 joints. 3 joints would cost you $20 basically for good weed. And I was never like me and my we when I first got a quarter for $90, that was like we call that outdoor dank. Outdoor dank was like high mids. I don't know. Yeah. If anybody, I hope some people are smiling when they're hearing some of these old terms. Or there is, I mean, because I'm 34 years of age. There's, I'm no spring chick, but like I ain't too old of a dog yet. It must be a wonderful, like these Google babies, I call them. Google babies, I consider anybody who like grew up once YouTube was fully realized.
Yeah.
Because I was still when I was in college, at one point NBC owned YouTube, and
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't even know that.
If there's any Yeah. Anybody here now that remembers that? This was like, I would say, 04. 04 at that same time. Yeah, yeah. So, so not a lot of, like, there was content controlled. I think so, at least. I don't know, but yeah, and like iPhones and whatnot. And so also, but like growing up with weed being thumbs up, double-edged sword, but also like, that also comes, then you must have grown up also in the post 9/11 era. Quite a tale of two Americas, to say the least. We used to have shows like American Gladiators on TV, and now there's just no such thing as a hero, like, whatsoever. Which might be good, because we did also, that was an era where we like put people on these pedestals, and then when Bill Clinton got caught, I think that began to usher in like the death of heroes era.
Wow.
Yeah, because then all the sports stars were all cheating, and it was like, oh, you did these great things. We all got so excited. We were all behind you, and then it was declared that you were cheaters. But then they were still kind of famous, and even like, I don't know, like Chris Brown. Even Chris Brown, I thought he was, because how many jokes do you hear about Bobby Brown or Ike Turner, these legendary women beaters? You hear like, oh, your face, like Bobby did Whitney. I hear that all the time, and like Ike and Tina, but like that's forever on their name. I think it was around the same era, like 05, 06. Chris Brown, when he just bop, 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 really, really punched Rihanna in the head several times in a car, which is just so not okay on any real level. I didn't really hear much public apology or like a lot of questions, but that hasn't become part of his legacy, I feel, enough. Chris Brown, I've been seeing like he's still getting the Netflix specials and pushed, where it's like, I don't know. It's tough, but you got legal weed. So it's like, man, you got a lot of heavy stuff. Life during wartime, since you were born, and there's no heroes. But you can go to the store and get a bag of Skittles.
Yeah.
And it'll smell like a lemon bomb.
It's weird to think of that as the consolation, but it kind of is. But
man, it is what it is. Yeah.
I will say, I'm just a couple years younger than you.
Yeah.
One thing that I'm grateful for every day is being as old as I am and having grown up in a time where I've seen the world go through this crazy shift. And I actually appreciate in a lot of ways that weed was, or just doing drugs as a young person. It was this taboo thing.
Oh, dude.
And I knew that I could get in trouble.
Yeah.
And it was so fun to do it.
Yeah.
And that story you told in the beginning about those guys.
Yeah.
Like having those older guys in your life that were cool and they showed you the ways.
Oh, the older dudes.
That's why that quote is with you today, because it's like those moments are huge.
Oh, like Matt Hoffman in the flesh, dude. Like they were, yeah. I was lucky. There was always, I always had a great flock of cooler, older. There's always an older crew, and just like, I was born in '86, and it was just even cooler and more low tech, and things like pamphlets and zines and stuff like that were definitely cooler, but when they were essential, and mixed tapes, cassette tapes. I did actually. I think I also grew up in the end of that era where you always had a blank tape in your whatever your stereo receiver set up going, and when you hear that song on the radio, you hear the first notes, you drop what you do and run into your room and dive and hit that record button.
Dang, just so you can get
and
as
writing,
much as you can.
Writing song lyrics on my walls and my desk in my room, because there were
no
internet.
notebooks.
There's no internet to look up. I was poor. I was books. I wasn't. It's like I ain't no nerd. Notebooks. I'll just scratch it where am I at? But yeah, I'd Bullet with Butterfly Wings. That Smashing Pumpkins song. World is a vampire.
Absolutely.
Such a dream. Yeah, every time I heard that, I wrote another line on like my little my desk in my room.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Because you couldn't just look up the words on the internet.
nah, and that was a double. Melancholy and Infinite Sadness was a double CD, and so that was like a $24 investment. And like I said, I didn't even have notebooks in my house. I had a
Just writing directly on the wall.
Yeah, I had to wait until the next Christmas when my uncle could buy that for me. And then the CD booklet, the liner. That's when if it had lyrics in it, bam, that was it.
I grew up squarely in the CD era. And in the where it would some kids had internet, some didn't.
Right. So dial up AOL 3.0, 4.0, 5.0.
So some people, like our mutual friend Nathan, some of my first memories of him, he would go around saying like, I can go on LimeWire and then I can download a CD for you, $5. So he would hustle.
He would.
Yeah.
He would be that dude.
Yeah. And he wouldn't even like, did you download music?
Yo, dog, I got that LimeWire. Yo, straight up, I'll burn you a CD. You tell me what you want. Just give me $5. Yeah, it's straight.
But he wouldn't like review the tracks. So a lot of them aren't what they say they are.
Dancing in the Moonlight. Gin and Juice. The Bluegrass cover. Dance in the Moonlight was not Van Morrison.
Right.
Gin and Juice was not Fish. Yeah.
Did Detachable Penis? Do you remember that song?
No.
It was a cool song, but it just always said Detachable Penis by Primus. No,
Right.
it's not a Primus song.
No, there's not a Primus song. Yeah. Big ups LimeWire. Yo, I had a laptop that had LimeWire. You just put in that word discography, and then 3 days later, yeah, dude, I had P-Funk discography, Prince discography, mad discographies, yo. And talking about abusing drugs, I've done plenty of my share. One time was a St. Patty's Day, right after LimeWire, like when it shut down. Pirate Bay shut down. Kazaa gone. I was holding my laptop like a box of pizza, and I was like a Luigi man with my pizza, with my boombox, with my multiple discographies, and just plant it, and like ended up like emphatically throwing this laptop at the wall and just explode it, crashed the hard drive. Which was actually, that was the beginning. Yeah, but then I resurrected my vinyl collection. And that's also another thing too, of actually going out, hunting it, getting it, holding it in your hand. I think the internet also does give this rise to tangibility, tangible items, hitting play, inserting it into the player. I get a kick out of CDs, DVDs, cassettes, anything where you're putting it and you can hold it, and you appreciate like somebody printed something. This went to the press. Multiple people had to get involved to back this, to put their time into it. Said this is worth it. SoundCloud, dope. You can hear anything anywhere. It's dope. I went on Reddit last night, going through just that like people just going through like that's dope. But at the same time, there's also something to this was a production. And there's still plenty of productions now too.
Do you think you accidentally destroying that laptop was part of the reason why you started getting into vinyl?
Well, I did. Okay, so that was also I had a significant vinyl collection from my late teenage years, early 20s, before I moved across the great states that are united at times, and less divided at times. And I had my previous roommates, my last roommates in Philadelphia. Coincidentally, I lived up the block from Diplo. And the mad decent house
While he was living there?
was dope, dude. It was so dope. It had like glitter cement. It was like just like row home, just like city block houses, and it mad decent was like custy fresh, silver sparkly, like you just be like walking down the street, and it was on kind of the corner, but it was the block. Just you were just like, yo, that is so mad decent. This house is so fresh. And it was it was a hip spot, whatever that area. Fishtown, Kenzo, what up, Philly. And that was also I only lived there for like 2 weeks. That was when it was like that was like the Philly hipsters. That was like the Philly Brooklyn. And when Brooklyn was the Brooklyn, that was like pre-Portland popping off. Like when Brooklyn actually was always whack. From the Philly perspective,
Wow.
whatever. Actually, no, it was awesome too. Just East Coast stuff. Yeah, just hate.
I don't know anything about it.
Just hate anything that isn't you, but also show mad love
Yes.
to everybody.
I understand that.
Hypocrisy galore.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great. But so long story short, I was living with these two house DJs, and they rocked CDJs, and they were also younger than me by a few years. They just didn't have this appreciation of like the format of. Long story short, they took all. I moved out and I was like, yo, I don't know how long I'm gonna be in Montana. This might be a short experiment. This might I might never come back. I might get eaten by a moose. Because I was a city slicker. I didn't know shit. And they ended up going to the Ben Franklin Bridge, which is this like 1.5 mile long suspension bridge in Philadelphia. It connects to Camden, New Jersey. They weren't even on any drugs. They were just like tripped out cats. They took all my, so my records got, the cat had pissed all over them. They were in like, it was stored in like the cat was just really getting funky. And
No.
so they're like, all right, Shane probably doesn't want these records that got cat pissed all over him. Like 2,000 records. And dope. And this was like, I started from like my dad and his 4 brothers, who were like all like, radio DJs, college radio DJs and whatnot. So I had like the essential startup kit. They just hucked them like Frisbees off of the mile-long bridge.
This is breaking my heart.
Just going to town like, oh, David Bowie. Can you imagine Bowie in your funk?
I mean, so you, to be clear, you would have wanted him. You would have.
Oh, hundo
cleaned
percento.
him up.
Dude, I don't know. Like, yeah, funky. George Clinton was born in an outhouse.
So this is before you moved to Montana.
I'll take cat piss all of my records. Shit's funky. It's only gonna make it shine, man.
So this is
so that was
after
so
you
I was
moved
yeah
here.
yeah because I did. So my story of Montana, I just went to Camp Make a Dream to work for the summer. I had no intentions of staying here. But then I had this freak aerobics thing that was really popping. And freak aerobics was essentially this thing I just made up. That if you took like a little bit of Taibo, aerobic kickboxing, but instead of that Billy Banks guy who's fit, cool, I was fitting cool too. I wasn't jacked. But it took me leading it, but it was like elements of Taibo, elements of Richard Simmons, and that Prince George Clinton, that spiritual funkadelic element into it, and before there were like what do they call those spontaneous pop riots? They got to be really corny. After a while, because it would be like everybody's just at a park, and then like. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, what? All these random people have this choreographed dance planned? Like,
dance mob?
Dance mob.
Flash mob.
Flash mob. Flash mob.
That doesn't
Yeah, I had this like improvised aerobic kickboxing workout that I had built just based off the fact that after I was done my tenure as a train conductor, I got a little fat because I was eating good foods just on a train for a long time. Maybe that story will come up. My train years, yeah. But
we've got a lot to cover.
Yeah. I had to build this workout, and that's what got me to. I got discovered at the swimming pool doing some freak aerobics by this woman who ran a gymnastics gym in Missoula, Montana, when I was working at this cancer camp, which was only supposed to be like a 3-month gig. And she was like, yo, hotshot, what you call that? Why don't you do that here all the time? I got this gym, like straight up. And I was like, yo, you're kind of hot. Is this something people roll out here? Like, what is like, so I just played along because I was like, all right, yeah, you got gym, I got the moves. Like, I got to go take these cancer kids back to camp, but like, let me get your number. Yeah, I'll hit you up next time in town. We can talk biz. And she was like,
Awesome.
all right, let's do it. And then I said, like, wait, maybe she was actually serious. And here I am, 11 years later.
I need to connect some dots here. So,
Yeah.
so you were here and you called your roommates, your old roommates, and they're like, we turned your record collection into Frisbees.
Yeah.
You found out over the phone, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it wasn't that long into it either. And that might have been one of the reasons.
Yeah, it's like, why go back now?
I was I got nothing to go back. Yeah.
I didn't. So your entire record collection now was created here in Montana.
100%, yeah.
That's crazy to me because it seems like you have more records than most people would collect in a life. And this is already your second time collecting.
This is my
records.
second time around. There's still ones from my first collection that I haven't even found yet again.
I believe you.
Yeah. If anybody got that Larry Young's Fuel for the Fire album, cherish that. It's so good. I used to have that.
I'll have to.
Larry Young ain't no slouch. Dude, it's like elements of Zappa, elements of Electric Miles. Yeah.
Did you collect? Is your record collecting? Was it with the intention of DJing always, or was it more as just a music enthusiast, a musicologist?
Yes. Okay. Good question there. Okay. I was talking. Okay. Rather than, I love the dichotomy, amongst like the people of like your best friends, like a lot of your best friends, I feel like, you choose them to be the parts of you that you aren't. Whereas like, I never really, my hustle has always been, very negligible. The game, Snoop says the game is to be sold, not to be told. I'm kind of the other way around. Yeah, the game is to be told. I'll tell you all about it. I'll show you how to do it. I don't give a shit about the profiting. And so I would, when the CD burn-in game came about, I would make on the first day of summer every year the Shane's mix, and burn them, give them out to everybody.
Yeah.
And that was,
You weren't trying to sell them for $5.
that was the ultimate summer. That was the compilation of bangers that you needed. And then it evolved into Shane's Mix Nighttime Blend, Shane's Mix Daytime Blend. And then I had to make monthly mixes for everybody. And then, because that was before I guess was old enough to be in a radio DJ booth. Because then there's also, because I've been a radio DJ for a long time.
Yeah.
And then I've also been a live DJ for a long time too. But my first, I did in a radio first. Drexel University, WKDU, big ups. Cosmic.
That's in Philly.
Cosmic Nuggets for the Wandering Ear. Yeah, where that was a dope. My great friend, Erica Corbo, Warp Sector 9, freak, the most beautiful freak from the land of beautiful freaks, Philadelphia, Freakydelphia. Corbo, you're a hero. She had the show, Cosmic Nuggets for the Wandering Ear. What a beautiful name. And would just have me come in, and just like a lot of things in my life, I just skip the formal training. Once I've already did it, then I'm there, and then I just do it. And then people just assume, or people know. and then they hate me for it because that's just the way I do. I just don't give a shit, and people give me shit, whatever. But Drexel University. After a legendary family, the Drexel family, me being the good old Catholic boy that I am, I love the saints, Saint Mother Catherine Drexel. Any Native Americans that were left in the Philadelphia area, she was like one of the richest families, heir to whatever, and she was like, nah, dude, I want to hang with the Native Americans and all these single mothers, just out there trying to do their thing. And this is in like, I don't know, late 1800s, early 1900s. And then all the society was just like, girl, you're a rich white girl. Like, quit that shit. Like put on these fine dresses and go, be a debutante. And she was just like, nah, dude, Lord's work. So anyway, so Drexel, her family made this university, Drexel University, big ups. It's right by Penn University, Philly. Yeah, doing it large. Drexel, known for their engineering, a lot of nerds, good peeps. But their radio station had a room about, not the size of this basement, but a sizable room of just aisles and aisles and aisles and aisles and aisles of vinyl records. And so I would just go in and I would go in like 2 hours early and just take stacks.
Wow.
And so, yeah, things that go spin, things that are dope. I mean, like records have dope art. It's big. It's a big music. You can. So I've always been just down with that from the get-go. And yeah, just kind of natural extension. So yeah, as my record collection, the more music, the more tangible music I acquired, the more I could do with it. And so, and then once I got like anytime I'd get paid for doing music, just like anybody else, then you just go and invest more of it into it. You get to do it. You get to have more sex.
Yeah.
There are some, or maybe not. There's no way to tell that. But. Or maybe so. No, I think the more you do, the more sex you'll have.
Yeah. So I have some questions here from like our friends. I asked, what should I ask?
What?
Chris,
premeditated questions? Yes, I've made it.
Well, we'll get into a lot of them. I just wanted to ask this one. Just our friend Chris Dupari. He just wanted you to elaborate. I guess at some point you were saying like. That's the reason that everyone has their hobbies is to help them get laid.
Yes, that's
is that what you said?
Attracting mates. That's been
attracting mates.
Since I was a young child. Since I was a very young child, this has been a theory that I've developed and growing and abs 100%. I'm glad that we got together to make a podcast on everything. Is about attracting mates.
Yeah. Oh, everything, not just your hobby.
It's not what you're doing. It's how you're doing it.
Right.
Am I right?
So you collected records. You didn't have a specific plan, but you knew not only did you love the music, but somehow it was going to help you attract a mate.
Oh my God, is that the truth? Yeah. I still have, dude, I got a journal. I have a journal. And I was heavy in the journaling game. Nowadays, my journal game is frantic. It's like song lyrics, budget, that. But I used to have every night this practice where I would write pages.
I did the same thing for a long time.
Yeah, and it's so dope. It's everything they say.
I miss it.
Dude, I
tried to bring it back this summer, except I do it first thing in the morning.
Yeah. I got myself it is funny, because maybe at some point in this interview, another interview, we can talk. There have been times in this past year in my life where my abuse of drugs has negatively affected my rhythms, and I've had enough relative sobriety recently to the point where I actually am able to journal before bed and stuff nowadays, and. Or even at different times when I have time. But this is all about when I was on a steady journaling game. I thought it was clever. I jumped about 30 pages ahead in my journal and wrote at the top of a page, empty pages. Finally, I made love to Joni Mitchell's Blue album.
Wow.
where there was a point in my life where I was like, I don't know, 20 years old, where I was like, yeah, that's what I wanted to do. That's what I did. That's what it's all about. That's what that album is for. It's for fucking, and I did it, and now I consider myself a part of the human race.
It's a milestone.
But so my theory, even okay. So I do remember actually even like sitting in church. I did very like a lot of my time growing up was in church, looking at stained glass and hearing the pipe organs and all that. Good thinking place. Contemplation is a wonderful thing, and it led me to contemplate, why we do what we do. Why do animals preen, flitter, to fuck? What, and so okay, and so so we have this great, and I think we confuse ourselves again, like you said, we think we're greater than we are, but we're not. You like you so in terms of a guitar, you develop a new language that gets to attract you more mates. It's just all, and you're drawing, you're painting, and there is that like self satisfaction of it, of like you do, because it has its own effects. So, but I think that self satisfaction knows when you know that you've done a good job at something, or you're getting better at something, and once you realize that, you might even know more of what you are bringing to a mate. That might let you be more mate selective. But I think you enjoy the things you do because it will lead you to sex.
Right.
I think,
guess,
and it's it's a core belief, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's clear that all animals are driven by the biological need to reproduce.
Right.
But humans being such cerebral creatures, it's not, maybe they're not consciously knowing that that's why they're doing the things that they're doing. But deep down they are. That's kind of what you're saying.
I think so. Yeah, and it's like also in the example I brought up of animals don't shame themselves for what they've done at the end of the night. Mm-hmm. We fill our time with that bullshit of feeling ashamed of what we did, when everything we did in that moment, you did it because that needed to be done. That was your survival. And then it's later at night when we try to think we're better than the animals. We're like, oh, I'm ashamed of that. No, you're not. You did it.
Yeah.
You weren't ashamed of it. You did it. And just like the animals fight. The animals fight and fuck. Humans fight and fuck. And then we torment ourselves.
And eat.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Eat and fart in there too. Yeah. So maybe if you're, I don't know, anyone who's listening, watching right now, I don't know, maybe it would be funny to totally like pull yourself out and actually like the next time, because currently right now, like I'm like drying flowers and like making arrangements, and like that's like my thing.
It seems like a primal like mating dance or something almost.
right. Where really like, and I think, but also at the same time, it's like, ooh, like I do like to like get stoned and just like put these little flowers together. But at the same time, but that's also like, that's adding to my freakiness, and that freak who's also into that shit is gonna be like, yo, you like fucking dried flowers? Let's fuck. Essentially, but we'll fill some time with bullshit of flirting and stuff like that to find out actually more. Or to weed out, just like, it always breaks my heart when you see those birds of paradise, who do that amazing dance Or maybe you don't because you don't watch nature films. But if you watch nature films, David Attenborough since Planet Earth 1. That's another thing too. If we're looking at like life post 9/11, all this like, boohoo shit, watch some fucking nature films in this era of HD cameras. And
Oh my goodness.
And yes, it's true. We've developed guns that you can shoot somebody from 2 miles away. Yeah, that's fucked up. But you can also spot a chameleon from 2 miles away doing things that we never in the history of humanity ever knew chameleons do when they're 2 miles away from all human eyes. And the greatest story, teams of Hollywood writers can't keep up with the story that is unfolding through Mother Nature as we now are able to study her like never before. And yes, people do bad things that are on certain news, but yes, also people are figuring out ways to pole vault themselves higher than any human has ever done in time, and we can focus on them and their incredible life story about what drives them to pole vault themselves higher than anyone else in the history of time. And I guarantee you one thing, that answer is gonna be to get my fuck on. Because somebody out there wants to mate, wants a baby that's gonna be able to launch themselves up real high too, because that's gonna you can't fight it.
It's good to kind of put your attention, like I was saying before, put your energy learning about nature, and just like you don't have to just listen to what the media or the social media would want you to focus on, which is all the negative in the world.
You look one way, you can also look the other way.
Yeah.
That is the truth. But and this is also really funny too, because this is coming from somebody like in my own life, I can so easily look the other way. And like also I might be like talking about how the animals are. I'm also a king of writing messages. A lot of the songs I write about like get your shit together, do work is like hopefully to inspire myself to do it, because I'm lazy as fuck. And I can get down like pretty easy. I can get down on myself for actually really easy, for like being a sucker fool.
Yeah.
But how easily too you can say like, no you ain't. No you ain't. Yeah.
So in the arc of the life of Shane, do you see improvement, like the man that you are today? Are you
No,
the rascal
ups
that
and
you
downs,
used to be?
peaks and valleys, dude. No, I've fucked up. I have fucked up, and it's been the past couple of years too. I've fucked up. Yeah. I like big time. I done fucked. I almost. Yeah. I'd be glad to talk about that. Sorry, I interrupted you. Was that actually?
No. I'm just I am just trying to kind of go this. I just want to get this sense of a deeper arc of your life, like. To me, you as a friend, and anyone who knows you, can see the heart of gold.
That's funny. Tell that to all my exes. No, actually, only about two of my exes. Actually, no, that is actually a good thing. And like one, actually, I think is just too fresh. Where we're just like, we have to hate each other now because we just have to, because it's just not working. We just haven't figured out how to get along.
Because you have to stop hanging out.
We just do. But yeah, no, I consider it a tremendous honor actually to have those words actually be attributed to me. Because
everyone knows you're a rascal as well.
And that's very true. When I'm at my best, I am absolutely a rascal.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of mischief.
Yes, a misanthrope. Yes, that's dude.
Quality mischief is
We have
important.
put on some great antics together.
Yeah.
I mean, our rascal minds, yeah. But okay, where I'd even say like I like said ex-girlfriend, like I cheated on her. And I had actually never cheated on a lover. And so that broke me up. Once you cheat, you can't uncheat. You are what you do, and you are defined by your actions. You cannot be defined by anything else. You can't. I'm gonna digress with a great story about Jimmy Valvano. Keep me on track, but this is gonna tangent. The Jimmy
we're
V
going
Foundation. If you ever watch the March Madness tournament, there's always that clip of like that coach that runs onto the court and he grabs his head and he's like, "Oh my God, we fucking did it! We weren't supposed to do it, but we beat everybody. We're this small school and we did it. Oh my God, this is what it's all about." He in one basketball game, he was the head coach and he was real Italian, Jimmy Valvano. And right off, like 30 seconds into the game, the referee made some calls and Jimmy V was on the court. He's like, ref, whoa, yo, I got it. You like, are you sure you certified you passed the test? Because this is the beginning of the game, and I don't really trust that you got control. And the referee, he said, hey. You get back where you belong. You let me be the referee of this game, or I'll kick you out of here. You say one more thing to me, as a matter of fact, I'll kick you right out of the game right now. and Jimmy Valvano, he strokes his chin. And he says, okay, I hear what you're saying. I got to watch what I say to you. Now, I just got to ask you this question, though. Can you kick me out of the game for what I think? And the referee says, what are you, some kind of philosopher over here? Like, what? No, I can't kick you out of the game for what you think. And Jimmy Valvano says, good, that's great, because I got to tell you, I think you're a fucking idiot. And the referee says, get out of here. You go take a shower. And so it's not, you can't be defined by what you think you are. What you think about what you want to do, you are defined by what you do. So, yeah, I cheat on my girlfriend. I was also, but that's one thing. I'm only going to keep that about me. That sucked. I'm a rascal. I'm a rascal with my body too. Like I like psychedelic drugs. I like, giving yourself that opportunity to find out. But I also did develop, like a drug addiction specific to Adderall, a drug I was prescribed to. And I figured out, if you grind it up and you snort it, you can set off some fireworks in your brain, and a little bit, a little dabble, like I do actually want to know what everything feels like, but then there was a series of decisions that I made to do it again and to do it again and to do it again and to flirt with danger and to step across to the other side, and then I got once the wax melted off the wings, then you can't fly anymore. And so I say this, that I have actually, done some significant wrong, and had to, eat the necessary crow. But there is, only opportunity too from everything. So yes, you acknowledge that you did wrong. Again, nothing is going to come from not doing. So, if whatever you can take from it and sharing it with others, and that might also be some like an endearing, trait about me. Yeah. If you do ask me like, hey Shane, how's it going at the supermarket? Like, I will tell you like, oh man, like I cheated on my girlfriend. And like I tried to keep it from her for a while, and I told her, and like this might be someone who I'm teaching their kid preschool, but I think that's life. That preschooler might one day think about cheating on their partner, and good thing they had that teacher that told them when they were 4.
Right. These are things that have happened in like recent times.
Yeah.
So like. It's like a chart of your life, the ups and downs.
And I guess there might also be people who haven't heard about me or whatever. Like I've also, built schools, in the same time period,
Right.
led opened opened some doors for some other people, led some people towards towards some sort of lightness, in their perspective. Started a Quidditch league in Missoula, and all kinds of merriment and cheer making. But I guess it is because I will say too, there was a period in my life which I'm actually the arc. The arc is over. It is funny. I'll always have the nickname Coach.
Yeah.
But
That's sticking with you.
But there was a 6-year run, maybe 5 years, where just like coincidentally, there was just so much to do, so many opportunities to do things, and so many people willing to do these things with me, and lead other people to it. Where I would kind of see myself around town, like there was like Coach Shane was kind of this thing, and I even felt, like a lot of people would see this Coach Shane that they recognized, and you would just maybe know certain things right off the bat. Like, oh, this guy is all about this and that. And there were also certain things that I even just did make sure, like, I even, once I recognized, like, I got to allow this to be kind of an opportunity to be more of who I wanted to be. So, like, I would only, like, if I was going to smoke a cigarette, I would have to do it in an alley, just because, like, I don't want to have any kids seeing that.
Yeah.
I'm still going to do it. But even too there, this Coach Shane that like was just this, I think, this force of positivity. There definitely is also the other side, like the sad clown even as well, where like I was at kind of at the peak of the Coach Shane. Like I was a terrible alcoholic before I developed the speed addiction. I stopped drinking. I haven't drank in like 6 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And then like 2 years later, accidentally developed a speed. If you asked me at any point in my life, if I ever thought I'd be staying up 4 days straight on amphetamines, never would I've said that. And so that actually led me to deep levels of shame too as a result. Like I had my aunt was one of those OG meth heads back when they thought like there's this miracle drug. It's a designer drug. Coincidentally, she worked for Boeing and was living in like the Tacoma area in the late 80s. And that was like, a huge scene of it. And so she got all fucked up and ended up staying with my family for periods of time during formative years. And she was so not cool, and like these like holes in your brain. And I like made a promise to myself. I said, "Yo, I'm gonna trip mad trips, but I'm never doing meth." And I still never have done meth.
Just the legalized pharmaceutical
medical
version.
grade, yo. Yeah, but let this be a tale. Don't, dude. I even have song lyrics in our songs where I said in Tasty Cake, which is like, I don't know, it's almost like one of like my songs. Like it's a song. It's very like anytime I do Tasty Cake, like I remember like, oh, this is it's a natural, extension of me. There is the line, don't need speed, or don't do drugs because the speed will kill. I'ma keep it real. I'ma give you what you want. Coach Shane be the boogeyman, king of the booty bump. And I'm tasty. But I even have a line in there, and that was actually before I developed. I even said like, I don't need drugs because the speed will kill. And then, what do you know? What do you know? But so, I'm kicking that shit, and anybody who is, fucking with that shit, you're gonna probably need help, and we're probably like-minded folks. So like, definitely talk to me, talk to people, because I had a couple moments this past year of I texted my mom at like 5 a.m. just I love you.
Yeah.
Because I was like, fuck, man, I'm gonna have a heart attack. Like I'm now like gone and did it. And I don't want to die. Not this way. And like, what a bum shame it would be to survive all the shit that I've survived, have all the fucking support that I have lots of people who apparently do, like believe I'm a good guy, who leads me to believe they're gonna miss me. And it did get to a point also where like I wasn't doing, like I couldn't not do, like it is a crazy thing. Addiction is an insane thing. So, and part of it is like, it's so insane that people won't believe it, or like you do expect people to think you're bad now. You're out. But it happens to anybody. And yes.
That stigma is so detrimental to making it so people can
like
actually get over it.
School teachers, doctors, nurses, like especially like school teachers and shit. Like, yo, you're drug addicts too. It's okay. It's 100% okay. But like, please normalize that shit. Like all like Pee Wee fucking Herman. So what? He jerked off in a fucking porno theater. So what? So we lost Pee Wee Herman because of that shit? Of course, look at Pee Wee Herman. Of course he's gonna fucking jerk off in a porno theater. Like we made him look bad. Whatever, dude. We all jerk off. Yeah. We all do drugs, but if it's gonna kill you, we don't want that to happen because we need you. And I need, I very much, anything I've done of any like consequence or significance, like has been with the help of everyone else. So
and you want to live.
I want to live. Fuck yeah, I want to live. And it's so fucking crazy that like I'm 34 years old. I didn't think I would. I never thought I'd be this old. And now I'm really stoked for milking out. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be 44.
Yeah.
I mean, but the car like we are right by the Orange Street Bridge. Actually, is right by us. And if a tractor trailer were to overturn, it would a couple turns. Like we could, like at any point, like death is right around the corner, and it's gonna be rad. I do want to like when that truck comes for me, like just be so ready. Like, yep, okay, sweet, this is it. I don't want it to be, fuck.
Yeah.
So.
I always wonder how I would react in that moment where I can see it coming.
Yeah.
It seems like there's a sense of calm that happens.
Well, I think once you do the math, I think or it might even show what your true colors are.
I guess so. The other it was a couple weeks ago, I was riding up to Patty Canyon with Bethany. And there's that canyon there.
The baller. Shout out actually right now to Bethany, the baller, Joyce.
Of all.
Yes. Or Bethany Joyce.
Yeah.
I like that one too. I had that in my phone.
Rejoice.
Yeah. Yep.
But just in that part of the drive where it's like, it's almost always shaded in those like that canyony part. So you could just see like frost coming up everywhere. And it just like, oh man, it's kind of icy. And as soon as like that hit, like next corner, the car did not turn.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And just like, I don't know. So we both had like that moment of like knowing that we were going to go off the road.
Yeah.
And I just remember like, as soon as I realized there was nothing we could do, just like this like calm just come over me, just like,
that's why you're my G.
And I was holding a bowl of soup. It was terrible.
That's how. Well, you were so calm because that is a fitting death. That's a fitting death. That is a death at your funeral that me and Nathan and Chris and Bethany, we will all look each other in the eye and say, he went out holding a cup of soup on his way to a beautiful destination.
I do really have a huge
probably
hope.
Dank soup too.
It was so good. It was
Sorry, go on.
Well, and we went like off the road and like missed all the trees and like it was no big damage to the car. It was really good. I dropped the soup went everywhere. But, that was
And it just mixed with your pee, so it was all good. Yeah.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't that scared in the moment. But I do have a big goal to not die in a car related thing because that's just one of those super common.
Yeah.
And yet it's just
Can I? Okay.
not good.
Can I take the reins for a minute?
Yeah.
I want to
steer us on.
I want to do lightning round. I'm gonna ask you. Just say yes or no.
Flipping.
Acceptable death.
Okay.
Acceptable death. Animal attack.
Yeah.
Easy.
So wait, what is the term of acceptable death?
I ask you, is that acceptable death? And you said no. Like car crash.
No. Okay. I guess I'm just going to go by instinct.
Yes.
Animal attack, big yes.
It's huge. Yeah, dude. Serial killer.
Oh, I'm on the fence. But I'm leaning towards yes.
Okay. Suicide.
No.
Drowning.
No.
Plane crash.
Yeah. See, that's interesting actually. Because the car crash, I don't want. Maybe I just want to die in a less common way.
Hey, this is why it's the lightning round. Just whatever your gut instinct. Slip and fall.
That just seems that's depressing.
Okay. Lightning strike.
Yeah.
Okay. Avalanche.
Yeah. That seems pretty gruesome. It's like there's the one. Is it acceptable in the way that it's cool? Then yes.
Because I think
the thought of suffocating under a bunch
suffocation.
of snow,
Yeah.
Oof.
Hopefully, because
you might just get smacked hard enough that you're
right.
it's
But
lights out.
I think it's even going to be a slow.
Yeah.
And then you suffocate. Yeah. On that note, drowning.
I think you said that already. But either way, yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I totally did. I was thinking because the first one I was thinking lake drown, and then I was thinking ocean drown.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd rather ocean drown, but
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Disease.
I guess that possibly
Getting
on a yes.
Getting
I'm
deeper.
not good at lightning.
Getting deeper. Terminal disease. End of term. Do you selectively go before you have to do like hospice?
I've always been on the side of really wanting to ride it out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. DNR or R? Do not resuscitate or R? Resuscitate.
I'm on the resuscitate side.
I'm on the resuscitate side too. Yeah, because like it could just be could be short term, a real short term. I'd hate for no, he says no tubes whatsoever, and then luckily just that 2 hours of being on the tube, then I'm good. I don't want to be a Terry Schiavo. Terry Schiavo, big case. She was in a vegetative state for for over 20 years.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Yeah, because you have to if I'm Darth Vader, Yeah. No. Yeah. If I'm in a vegetative state for that long. Yeah. Hold on. But okay. I guess wait. I think there's one more.
Is this a list that
an icicle falling from a really high place, just entering the middle of your skull.
Oh my goodness.
Going down, riding your entire spinal column, coming out of your anus.
Wait, did you just make that up right now? No, literally, if you ask me how I want to die, I always imagined it going through my heart. I'm serious. A giant icicle falling and hitting me right in the chest.
That is why I made that the final question.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes.
That's
that's why I had Rain's back in your. That's how you know we got a good show going.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Okay. Oh,
this is totally not my first podcast.
Yeah, no, this is not.
We're clearly experts.
Yes. I think now is the time of the podcast. Now it's popping. I gotta tell you how my poop story of the week.
Lay it.
Okay.
Lay it down.
Okay.
Thick.
So I was even going to text you. You know about my chunks of energy deal. I started this new year. Chunks of energy might contain hard debris. I'm all about chunks of energy these days, and I love how there's specifically from Natural Grocers. They have these. They've got many different flavors, many different assortments, but they're chunks, they're cubes, and they'll have seeds and some sort of gooey substance, all kind of superfood kind of stuff.
I'm a fan.
And when we were hanging on New Year's, I was crunching some. I think there was some coconut and chocolate.
Those are the best.
Those are the best. They were out of those the last time I went, and I got some goji berry, turmeric, sesame seed, date ones. And I munched out on those. I felt euphoric for like a 45-minute period. Whereas like because there's a lot of it was like a sugar high, but like it was a good high, and it was superfoods. But I never really ate much dates in my life, really none, really at all. And so I think I consumed maybe like a cup of dried,
It's kind of that prune effect.
dried dates. Yes. And that night went to sleep, and the next morning, I just felt funny. I didn't know what was going on really. And I had to work. And so I was getting myself ready to go to work. I hop in the shower, and it was like too early to tell, like I didn't know if I was, it was kind of one of those mornings of like, do I have coronavirus, or am I tired?
That's a question that billions of people around the world have asked themselves.
Do I have coronavirus, or actually is this like the depression that is totally like under all of us now at this point? A little bit, at least, or a lot of it, for some of us. And I just had like a little fart bubble, just the first 2 in the morning. And I let out a little fart and just
Oh wow!
a lot poopy from my butt, just like
Still in bed.
No, I was in the shower. I got him in the shower.
Okay, all right.
I'm so glad I was in the shower, because whatever I was doing, this little poop, this little toot, there's no way. It was just this little little air, and that just opened the gate enough to let this date sauce. It was just date sauce. That luckily my sphincter just kept it in. But once that opened up, it just blurped out at me, and I didn't know what happened. I said, "Wait a second, it feels like poo just got on my butt." And then I looked behind me, and as I looked and saw what I had done, was when the next round came, and it was like, it was the rest of the dates and the hoagie, essentially. And it just like it just fell out of me. I was so smooth. I was so smooth. And after it was out, I just said like, oh my God, that was a gut cleanse.
Huh.
I'm not sick.
Yeah. Well,
That's what dates do, I guess.
Okay.
Or maybe like that's when you're getting older. You eat some dates.
I can't say that I've ever had a full movement in the shower.
Dude, I would say it was a quarter movement.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that much.
Yeah.
Like it was totally contained enough where like, and then I still made it to work on time, but I had to fully clean my bathtub after that, obviously. Because I have housemates, and I hope they don't listen to this. I really do, because it's too fresh. Even whenever time we actually, I'm sure we'll have plenty to fix and edit there in post. Hats off to us for keeping no cuts during this.
Well, we're getting a little deep. I want to.
I had to talk about a rascal. I had to sneak a poop story.
Not the subject matter is limitless, but I want to have time to get to some of these questions.
Okay.
But one thing that I wanted to ask about is just like, I was trying to explain like that book about the Philadelphia chromosome to Bethany. I was like, I didn't know how to explain it, but just to me, it's like this cosmically random, amazing thing that happened to you.
Yeah.
Living in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Getting that
toads
random form of cancer that was named after Philadelphia.
Having a Dateline special with Whitney and Bobby. There was a Dateline episode, y'all, with yours truly for an hour. The next segment, Bobby and Whitney. I'm talking about the famous interview where Whitney's like, I'm fine. I'm totally fine. I feel great. And she was dead 2 months later. Yeah, that episode, that all came from one day I thought I'd broke my arm. I thought I had a broken arm because I had this rival. Pat Kelly was his name. Pat Kelly, big ups. You my boy. But you know the story just as much as I do. We grew up, he was a fly Irish cat. There's a lot of fly Irish cats around Philly. And he was a fly cat from his side of the town. I was my fly cat from my side of the town. There was the train tracks in the middle of the town. He was on the country club side of the town. I was on the side closer to Philly. So he had his whole social network. I had my whole social network. I ran my scene. He ran his scene. And he went to my high school. He went to like the Catholic high school that you go to if you go to his side of the tracks. It was the private school. Mine was the like, you go to Catholic, the nuns with nuns and they fart on your desk and shit. And I had Catholic schoolgirls asking me to kick them in the stomach because they got pregnant and they couldn't let anyone know. And so in gym class, I had classmates asking me to kick them in their stomachs in their Catholic schoolgirl uniforms. That was my Catholic high school. We were bad. We were bad. And we were bad. It was dope. But also, I'm props due to the prep kids. Also, they were bad too. They were worthy adversaries. Because Pat Kelly was smooth, and and what he got was good, and he respected me. We were good. We were rivals, but he was also fast. I was also fast. And we were arguably the fastest cats around. And then when it came to high school, like we would run meets, but because we went to different schools, we were in different leagues, we would compete against different styles of schools. But we would only come together at like the once in a while track meets, the big invitationals. Right. And that was dope because it'd be from like all Philly. And we just never got to be in the same race at the same time. So we would post similar times. And so we could never actually know. There was no definitive like Pat Kelly's number one in the hood. Yo, Shane dog, he's number one in the hood. So we just always had speculation and just a lot of brewing and stewing. But Philadelphia is known for its CYO ball. Basketball in high school. You could play for your high school team, or you play for the Catholic League. Had some serious ball playing, and it would be for people who like maybe like I don't get along with the coaches, so I can't. I'm a baller, but I can't play on my school team, or like I got kicked out of school or whatever. So you play with the Catholic League, and me and Pat Kelly wound up on the same high school Catholic League ball squad, and we'd have practice Sunday nights back at the old school gym where I grew up playing, middle school, grade school, and we were talking about rascals. We kept this thing going. Like we were just like also like under this is also the era of toxic masculinity like taught to you, and so there was a lot of that of like we couldn't talk about it. You know, so we would be on the basketball court at the same time, be teammates. We would have like a 20-point lead. When me and Pat Kelly would be playing at the same time, we wouldn't pass each other the ball. We would lose we'd lose the lead for our team. We were like that level. But one night, this is all coming down to why you asked the question. One night, we're doing a rebounding drill. My basketball coach, I could talk about him, but he was a recovering alcoholic, had a stutter. And Matt Flowers, he was legendary, and there was a reason he could only coach in the Catholic League, and he knew it. He knew it. He was setting us up for this rebounding drill. He was sick and tired of it. Shane and Pat Kelly are gonna they're gonna go at it. Their teeth might get knocked out, but God damn it, they're gonna figure it out, and we're not gonna lose a basketball game because these guys' pride.
Wow.
And so the drill was he would blow the whistle, chuck the ball in around the backboard net area. There's 2 lines. When the person in the front of the line on both lines, when the whistle blew, you get that ball. And so
Violence.
after a few rounds of it, it lined up so that me and Pat Kelly were going to be at the front of the line.
At the same time.
For the first time ever, we had an opportunity to be better than the other person
And the speculation.
And we were in high school. We were juniors in high school that we had nothing else to worry about other than who was the coolest guy in town or whatever, you know? Who's going to get the most mates? The most fucking private school girl.
Bring it back around.
And so it was perfect. Coach Flowers blows the whistle, chucks it at that perfect point on the back of the rim where it hits and then just goes like straight up in the air. And so me and him, whereas other players, it was like hit off the backboard, it just like easily went to one person, you know, or the other person. This was like we had time to box each other out, knees bent, arms grappling each other, looking up in the air, the time stood still, yada, yada. We jump up. My 2 hands go across the ball. His 2 hands go across the ball, but we're like locked up already. We hit the ground and just immediately, neither one of us are letting go. And it's going back and forth. And so we have to like push at each other's diaphragm, like knock the wind out of each other. And we do. And both were just like, oh, but we're not letting go to this ball. I end up like judo tossing him over me, but he still holds on. So I roll with him. And I got him, like, I just like got his nose like good. But then he came around and his elbow smushed my forearm. It was like on like the hardwood and an elbow went on it. And then that was my like, ow, like that hurt. And then I think it ended up hitting like a knee or something, but like just as tightly as we both had it, it just popped out of both our hands. That moment. And neither one of us walked away with it. And so we both, and meanwhile, our whole team had circled around us. And Matt Flowers was like, this was what it was all about. Sunday night in the gym. Just the boys sweating, shirts off, doing it. Philly, 2003. The Roots coming to break you off, you know, was the jam. Or it might have been, yeah, whatever. But I digress.
Yeah,
so
we'll get there.
He leaves the gym. He's like holding his nose. He's like, "Yo, fucking shit, I'm gonna get him." I'm walking out of the gym, holding my forearm, and I'm like, "Dude, fucking Pat Kelly, I'm gonna get him. Like now, I'm gonna get him." But so that was Sunday night. On Monday, I remember in economics class, I'm like rubbing my forearm, and there's no bruise or anything, but it's like all just sore. Tuesday, economics class. It's like right before lunch. There does start to be like some swellage, like no black and blue. And it's just tender, you know, it's all like muscles and shit. Wednesday and Thursday, my forearm is like getting bigger. No bruising, but it's just like like definitely swelling, getting like kind of jelly filled. Friday, it's like twice the size of what my forearm normally is, and it hurts a lot. And then I was thinking maybe I had a contusion, perhaps, like when the bone actually like bruises. And just because I heard like they can really hurt. But that Friday night, so me and Pat Kelly, we played the CYO ball, but our high school teams that neither one of us played on were playing each other, and it was like the holy wars, like my Catholic school against his Catholic school, the poor Catholic kids versus the rich Catholic kids. It's a tale as old as time. He's on the other side of the court. He's leading his cheering squad. I'm leading my cheering squad. By the second half, I can't raise my arm over my head, and I said, "God damn it, I've got a broken arm. I got a fucking broken arm. This is not going to do me good." So I go home to my folks, and I'm like, "Mom, Dad, I got a broken arm. I gotta go to the hospital." I wasn't driving cars and shit then, so I like needed their help. And I don't know, because I broke my arm on the weekend one time when I was younger, and apparently like we couldn't get a cast until Monday. Some bullshit. I even forgot. I don't know. Or I think maybe my parents at that time, they were just like, "Nah, we're not driving to the fucking hospital. It's Friday night and shit." So they're like, "Nah, you can't get a cast until Monday anyway. So we'll take you to the hospital Monday morning." And already by Friday night, I just remember I was starting to dipping skull. Dipping skull was a thing that, even though like Philly, it doesn't seem hickish at all. People chew tobacco everywhere. I found. And I don't know, chewing tobacco. It's funny that we give it a hick, connotation. It's a way to get high, shit. But it's not what you're doing; it's how you're doing it. We've been there. So if I maybe a little light is going off in some people's head, maybe it's not at this point. But so I got this arm that I think is broken. It's torture all weekend. My arm's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and hurting more and more. And I was pretty sure my parents were just, giving me a story about the not being able to do anything about it until Monday. But I will tell you this: at the first rays of sunshine on Monday morning, I was in a rocking chair, just rocking back and forth because I was in so much pain. My arm, it felt like my forearm from the inside of my arm was going to explode. And so I got my mom. I was like, "Mom, it's Monday morning. We're fixing my arm." And she takes me to the hospital. And this is like our local hospital. We're like in an immediate suburb of Philadelphia, on the northeast side. Morrisville, big ups, LBC, Lower Bucks County. Yeah. We dripping with flavor. All my LBC cats, like, yeah, we did do it. And here we are. And this is part of your story. We had crazy stories. I was just one of the many crazy stories of my high school. So I go, and right off the bat, the doctor feels my arm, is like, "Oh yeah, oof, yeah, you got something going on here. Let's get you down on this X-ray table." And that's a whole thing too, because we gotta like manipulate my arm, and it's swollen to this extent. And so there's no doubt in the doctor's mind, like, "Yeah, you got a janked up bone in there. We're gonna let this result show that, and I'm gonna figure out how to fix it." Well, he's looking at the bone, and he doesn't believe. He's like, "The bone is straight fine. The bones looks beautiful." So then the only thing to explain this massive swelling in my arm at that point is that a bug bite. This is totally coincidental to the injury that I received.
Yeah.
There must have been a bug bite, and there's a nasty infection inside of there. Because it was also warm. It was warm to the touch, just because it was like growing. So it was like just swelling. And then so they said, we'll be able to prove the infection by taking a white blood count right now. Typical white blood counts range in the, like, I don't know, I think it's like 2,000 to 4,000 range or so. So they were anticipating an elevated white blood level count to show that there's fighting an infection in your white blood cells, do that. So they're expecting to see upwards of like $40,000 to $50,000 in my blood because I'm rich like that, son. My blood cells, and so they take my blood, and then an hour goes by. They initially said like we'll have the results back like half hour. And I'm in just one of those little rooms in the emergency room, just like a curtain, and like it's busy, and I can see kind of around the curtain. There seems to be like always one nurse, like always there was always one person who had their eye on me, and there's always like someone have a clipboard in front of their face, talking to someone else, and then. You see the other person who's hearing what the person with the clipboard in front of their face is saying, and then these eyes that are looking at you every now and then, seeing you look at them, and then they look away. And so I know, so I'm thinking, they lost it. They lost my results, and they don't know how to ask me, yo, can we take some more blood? And there's just a 2-bit operation over here. But really, it's just communication. Doctors fuck up, too. You were doing drugs last night because you're a drug addict. You're smart. Just tell me that so you can, that's what
happens. And
meanwhile, I'm starved. I'm so hungry. It's been hours. It was early in the morning. We just went to the hospital. We didn't eat breakfast and shit. So I got two primary concerns. My arm's about to explode, and I'm really hungry. So I just start, I think chanting drugs and Big Macs, drugs and Big Macs. Give me drugs and let me get, or I was like, yo, you need to give me some painkillers, or you need to let me go get a burger and come back and wait for your asses. And then finally they're like, yo, they send in this doctor that I didn't talk to yet. He must have been the new guy on the squad. Yeah. He was also from India, so it's probably hey, you always have something to prove because you got your medical training somewhere else or whatever. I don't know. So either way, this guy was put up to. He was literally pushed into my room, and so he just
you talked to him.
His bedside manner was hilarious. He was hello, Shane. How are you? Oh, no. Because he actually didn't know. And I was like, dude, you heard me. I'm hungry and I'm in pain. Tell me, what can you do for me? He's like, well, I don't know. And I was like, what the fuck you mean you don't know? And he's like, okay, Shane, what do you think of when you hear leukemia? And I'm just like, bitch, I don't got time for word association games. I got nothing. The fucking nerve of you right now talking about fucking leukemia when I just told you I'm starved and my arm is going to explode. And you're talking about, let me answer your question. I think of that Sarah McLachlan song and a bunch of those bald-headed kids on those late-night infomercials with say you but there for me. If so, that answers your question. Why are you talking about that? And he says, you have it, maybe? And I was like, what is that? You have it, maybe. And then he reveals. And so my mom is tell me why, what, and then he reveals we've never seen a white blood cell count as high as the one that I had. No one had ever been alive with that composition in them. I forgot to mention my belly at this point. I was very fit. I had this ripping 6-pack. I was a junior Olympian runner also, but I couldn't run anymore. Mysteriously, I kept getting injured, and I didn't know why. No one knew why. All my muscles stopped working at this Olympic level anymore, and were ripping apart. It was because I had so many white blood cells going through my body. My red blood cells were getting starved, and so I was my body was suffocating. I was anemic to the max. And I was finding myself able to fall asleep and stay asleep for 36 hours. My mom and dad, one time I came home from school on a Friday after school. I had just fallen asleep, and I got myself, I don't know, in the corner. The blankets were over me in such a way that my parents had poked their head into my bedroom once or twice over the weekend, and they just thought I was out just fucking partying, and I was gonna.
Wow.
And so Sunday morning, it was time to get ready for church, and they opened the door and they're like, "Shane, church, get up," and I was like, "What what are you talking about? It's Saturday." And they're like, "No, it's not." I had just been in a mini coma for all of Saturday.
So there's these red flags.
I didn't even wake up, but I don't even know. I didn't even wake up and go to the bathroom. I was just thinking, like, I don't know. That's just what you do. Sometimes I don't know. Or like, I honestly did not know.
In hindsight.
Also, because of this happening, I'm showing all these symptoms where, like, I was a junior Olympian. I was also my class president, all this kind of stuff. But I really was bogged down. My body was bogged down. I also just had started smoking weed, coincidentally, because that's just the age where I discovered it. And so in like the athletics community around Philly, because I did like, I was known, there was this one newspaper article that basically was reporting that my poor track times, because in the beginning of the season, I was like setting course records in cross country. And by the end of the season, I didn't even place at our like league meet. And the headline was "Disappointing End to Disappointing Season for Rooney."
Wow.
They never write negative shit about high school athletes.
That's mean.
And after that, I was like, you know what? I hang it up. I hang up my spikes. I'm done. I'm done. I ain't no athlete. I'm a fucking rapper. Just whatever. I'm smoking weed now. I don't care. But also, yeah, it was like I can fall asleep at a moment's notice. And I wasn't able to like really lead a whole bunch of like school activities like at the rate that I was doing. And so this is 2002, 2003, Prozac Nation. This is when scripts were getting paid. And so I have these symptoms, and everybody's like, "Oh, this kid, like, you're depressed, kid. You're depressed. Don't even take a blood. Don't even think about anything other than like take some of these like blue and yellow pills, and you'll feel better." Really, I did have this slow developing leukemia that was developing in my body. And
it's depressing.
And I'm getting put on antidepressants. And as somebody who like does enjoy all kinds of weird drug experiences, I was on the Paxil. And I don't know how Paxil affected me at least, was when I'd have it in my body, and then when I would stop taking it, the withdrawal symptoms were, I would call it phantom brain syndrome, or when I'd turn my head and my brain stayed within my skull because it didn't go anywhere else. But there was all my nervous system and everything. Like there was still an outline of the whole neural network and pattern of the organ of my brain that I would still be like able to see and centered, and it would catch up to me quarter of a second.
Wow.
After I turn, and that's bad trip shit. That's just straight bad trip shit. Nothing my mind has led me or my eyes have seen in crazy intense psychedelics ever disturbed me as much as that. And it was me. I was a high school kid, so I'd forget to take my medicine all the time. Or actually, I knew I wasn't depressed, so I wouldn't take it. So it was a weird thing. And so that's going on inside me. And then so when the doctor laid it down to me, where he said, "We've never seen a white blood count this high," everything made sense.
Yeah, no
it was
shit.
like the truth was told. And I looked my mom in the eye and I just said, "I told you." And she melted. The mother's grief was so immense. I immediately was like, "Yo, no. Like, no. I just needed to say that because I did tell you I said I told you I wasn't depressed."
Yeah.
And God, she was Yeah, she felt that. And that's what I do. Having kids, damn, dude. Big ups to all my parent friends. All the parents out there. There's nothing small when you're a parent, dude. Nothing small. Just gotta.
That's particularly heavy stuff.
Yo, and yeah. So having your son, because usually I think also as a parent, you're like, oh God, when I get cancer and my kid has to bury me or whatever, and then when you see like, oh my God, wait, my kid, and then he just told me, I told you, like I could, Mom, I love you, you did just fine, and so. So once that was told, that can't be untold. So all right, so I beat the record, whatever.
Yeah, you're still setting records that year.
Yeah, and so I'm like, okay, dude, who I never met in my life. I'm 16. I'm Philly as fuck. I or also just a 16. I'm a young buck, and I'm just like, that's all good and all, but I told you I need pain medicine and I need burgers. So can I get some fucking pain medicine and burgers? And he was like, I literally do not know. We have already called the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, which is on the other goddamn side of the city. But they are the world's leading oncology for pediatric, and like just that a week before they were named the top children's hospital in the country. There's always this race between them and Seattle Children's. Big ups to Seattle for Children's Hospital for in the late 90s, early 2000s. One of the only people to experiment with marijuana with pediatrics, straight marijuana. There was like Marinol was a thing that was around in the oncology community. I didn't even fuck with that shit because it was just dumb. But I digress. They said, yo, like we got an ambulance from them coming up because like we really like we don't know at this point if I put any drug in you, I don't know what's gonna happen. Even like if you need to eat, but I can't tell you to do it because I don't know how you're here. I don't know how you woke up any of the days that you woke up with this condition going on. And so meanwhile. Yeah, I still had this fit ass body, but it was this joke amongst me and all my friends. Since I stopped running elite races, I was getting this beer gut. I was getting this distended stomach to the point where I actually could put a beer can on it,
literal beer gut.
But it had rippling abs underneath it, or I mean on top of it. And again, another thing that's like so obvious to anybody, like, yo, we gotta get you to a doctor. That's not right. That's like a thing. So what had happened? Your spleen is your body's fort. That's where all your white blood cells hang out.
It was extra fortified.
Your spleen is usually like the size of a fist. My spleen was the size of an NFL football. Inside of my body, and you got all the miles of intestines, all that shit in there.
And you and your friends were like, "Oh yeah, stop running. He just got fat
It's
instantly."
Shane, like
he just got fat with abs.
Even when he's fat, he's got abs. He's cut. And also that was when like it was high school. It was in the hallways like slap boxing. Slap boxing was like one of the things. Slap boxing and rolling dice. That was like all we did. And Solomon, my main boy Solomon, was like 6'6", huge, and he I think boxed something crazy, but he just would like slap me silly in the hallway, and I was that kid that was like, yeah, my friend who boxes, like slap him in the face a couple times, like let's go, and he would I think it was that same Friday, like he knocked me good right in the belly, knocked the wind out of me. And at one point the doctors said like, yo, your spleen was like about to pop, and if your spleen pops, that's when you die.
Lights out.
It's like, poison all in your blood or whatever. And they said like, yeah, like I hope like you just like didn't get, or like any hard bump could have ruptured your spleen. And I'm just thinking of like, yeah, one of my best buddies, if like if you accidentally kill your best friend because you popped their spleen. Like all these what ifs, miracles galore. And so yeah, this insane shit is unfolding. And I just have to hold tight. I guess it was like rush hour traffic was going on by this point, or there was lunch hour traffic or something. So I get to the hospital at like 9 a.m, and at maybe 3 p.m, this EMT squad from another. It was weird, like an EMT squad coming into an emergency room. So I had to get scooped out of the emergency room to a super emergency room, and right away they look at my arm and they're like, "Yo, are you on any meds? You're not on any meds right now?" I was like, "No." And they're like, "God damn, look at the size of that arm. Let's give you some morphine, boy. Like, do you not want morphine?" I was like, "No, I want it." and so they get me relieved, and I get a good opiate buzz going on. So I'm just like, all right, you guys, like, you're sticking with me. Like, I'm rolling with you guys. You're all right. And then they're also, so I get into the ambulance, and my mom had to drive. Yeah, so my mom is having a trip. I haven't even actually really thought about, like, when my mom gets in the car and, like, what she's doing. Because I meet these friends who give me drugs. And then they tell me, they say, like, "Yo, this is nuts." Like, they read my file. And they're like, "Dude, this might be a case for Dateline." And I'm just like, "Yeah, I guess." And they're like, "Well, yo, but for real though, Dateline is at the hospital right now just looking for a story today." They brought Dateline is it's an NBC news program that it's based in New York City. We're only like an hour and like 20 minutes from where they're based out of. And so they just caught wind, like, all right, Children's Hospital Philadelphia, best hospital in the country. They've got this super busy emergency room. It's the entire city of Philadelphia. Somebody's probably gonna have. We're gonna find a story today. We're gonna have cameras on in the emergency room at the door, at like the whoop, whoop, folding doors. And I was like, "Yo, what the fuck? What? Yeah, a Dateline? This is my shot. I'm gonna get laid."
Yep.
Like, I just got the crazy.
Find a mate.
They just told me no one's ever had a white blood count as high as me. I'm the best. Ride it.
Yep.
But also kind of weird too, because it's like attracting mates. It's like, well, you've got a disease, dog.
Yeah.
But
some people are into that.
yeah, exactly. It's all the freaky people in the world. That's what I say. So then there actually is a Dateline news crew that caught me because I hadn't been diagnosed with anything yet.
Yeah.
All this doctors said, like, "I think you have leukemia, but I don't know what the fuck. I don't know if you're gonna explode or not. So I don't know." So I was just like, all right, these fucking clowns. That's all. They didn't get. They have nothing for me. They didn't do one thing right today. They didn't get me high. I was a young addict, and speaking of addicts though, I think a lot about how I was always an addict. I come from like a pedigree of Irish addicts. I was also one of those kids too that my parents told me since I was a young age, even before I touched any drugs. So, like, "You're an addict, so don't, you're already in trouble." And I was like, "Well, fuck it, I'm already an addict. Just let me fucking do my thing." But my time being at this age where I was only on the weed, and I dug the weed, but then I got hooked up with morphine pumps, and IV. All combos of drugs to combat the ridiculous amounts of poison I was also being put into my body to rid myself of leukemia. But it very real. Like, I would when I would get an IV of Benadryl and Phenergan. I think Phenergan is a anti-anxiety. And they would give that to me just Benadryl and an IV fucking takes me to just cloud space.
I can imagine.
So very much of So I did my diagnosis day, and like my experience of going through chronic myelogenous leukemia and a bone marrow transplant was actually like it was my life. It was amazing. I was in love. So I did get officially diagnosed when I got into the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. They did have a good idea based on that high of a white blood count that it was certainly a leukemia, which is a blood cancer. And so there's no tumors, there's no mass. It's a blood imbalance. And so the mixture you got inside your body, it's a delicate, formula to make everything go right. And so these leukemia cats have one thing, their lymphoma, it's not the right amount, and it will eventually just, just get you. And the way to determine if you have the type of leukemia that they thought it was, you have to extract the bone marrow, and you have to examine the genes in the DNA within the bone marrow, because your bone marrow is what makes your blood. That's where your blood cells come from. They're your blood factory, your blood producers. And so in your DNA, your chromosomes, your 26 pairs.
Don't remember.
You have 23 pairs. You have 46 chromosomes. You have 23 pairs of them. Mm-hmm. And they find their mate, I think, and they band themselves in the middle, and they spiral together. And so a 1 and a 1 go together. A 2 and a 2 go together. The 3 and a 3 go together. And then so when the chromosomes bond, they then make proteins. The proteins are actually what carry the task. The code is in the DNA. The proteins carry the action that actually make your eyes blue, that make your hair curl, that make your metabolism the speed it is. And so for every moment of my life and every cell inside my body, up until a certain moment, maybe my freshman year of high school, in one cell, my 1, my 2s, my 3s, my 4s, my 5s, my 6s, my 7s, in that one cell, they all link up. But then when my 9s are linking together, the top of my 9 just decides to rascal off. And he says, I'm going where no 9 has ever gone before. And he goes all the way to the land of 23. And he mates.
Ugh.
He leveled up.
The audacity.
He leveled up like no 9 has ever leveled up. No 9 has ever leveled up, period. So this one motherfucker inside my body in one cell has the fucking balls to just shoot the moon. And he marries the queen, this lowly peasant. And together they make a new protein that has never been made ever before. And that just causes white blood cell city. And then so from that point, my body is just selling white blood cells. Like they're going out of business. And then by the time my junior year hits, my bone marrow has gotten the instructions. So you just don't quit making those white blood cells. Even to the point where if an injury occurs in an area and your brain and nervous system recognize there's an injury in that forearm from that basketball drill gone wrong. And then my brain was saying platelets that the blood cells that repair go to that area. And your platelets kind of chill wherever they want. Yeah. They hang out until they get the call. They kind of have like army helmets on all the time. They're just grunts just around.
They're like the National Guard.
And then the nerves, exactly. And then the nerves tell them like, yo, go to that paper cut. And the ones nearest are like, yo, I'm on the call.
Right.
And then the nerves, the platelets in like your other hand are like, all right, we're ready. If it really gets bad, we'll travel up there and get there, and we'll coagulate. And in this case, my brain was like, yo, platelets, fix up that muscle that just got shredded. And there's such a party of white blood cells in my body that all these white blood cells and all these platelets are like, yo, get the fuck out of the way. Hey, we got some shredded muscle over here. Hey, get out of the way. And then meanwhile, there's these red blood cells that are just like,
Choking.
I can't breathe. And then just all these white blood cells that don't even have the ability to fight infections or anything. It's not like I'm like super not sick. There's just like and these platelets are like, God damn, like why am I surrounded by idiots? And so meanwhile, my brain is like, yo, I still got this shredded muscle. So platelets from all over the body. I don't care what the fuck you're doing. I don't care how you get there. Just get there. And then so as every day in economics class, I'm just noticing like my arms getting super swelled. It was like once they got the message and once they all got there late to the party. And so inside and cells can move, like bone cells can move, and you can and muscle cells can move. So there ended up though being so many platelets that got inside my actual muscle casing, because all of your muscles have like a sausage sack around them, and my forearm muscles got gorged, got swelled, and actually compartment syndrome was right about to happen to me. And compartment syndrome is when that sausage casing of your muscle rips, and then it's like a whole thing. So so that didn't happen. My sausage casing did not explode. It was just like right on the fringe.
Just like your spleen.
Yep. Just like my spleen, just like all these things. And then so once I get to the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, and literally I have Dateline News Squad on me. There is like a reporter. There's like the producer, the camera one, and sometimes there's a second guy. But mostly the squad like following, and immediately I do take account that the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia has the slamminest nurses nurses are fine by nature. And nurses, this. You get down. You're natural. It's you're anybody who they get dirty in their line of work, and they save lives every day.
Nurturers.
If any nurses listening, especially what if this becomes like a podcast, and this could. Nurses. I am all about the nurses. And even I was back then too. So yeah, I got I'm being told like you have leukemia. And I'm just like, damn, this is leukemia? I got medical grade drugs. I got the finest biddies in the city all taking care of me. Like, this is what's up. This is okay by me. I don't have to go to school tomorrow. I got ultimate doctor's note. I'm on primetime. I'm gonna be on primetime TV. Shit, I thought I was gonna have to like run track to get famous. Like, nah, dude. I just gotta stay alive long enough to see me. And I knew I was gonna and that really was what I wanted to see myself on Dateline so bad. I stayed alive through unbelievable scenarios. Also, I was in love. I was so madly in love with this girl. But I feel the story can get wild from here. But yeah. I guess the question was about the Philadelphia chromosome. So when the ninth chromosome jumped the tracks, it wasn't until 10 years prior that they even knew about that.
Right.
They had been since the 50s. Mid 50s they did I think they had like identified like, oh, there is a repletion or like a replication. Like they had thought there was just like a gene deletion that occurs. And then I think in like 77 or so, they were like, and then this is just like after what is crazy about the world of science. All these doctors are just like, there's no results are ever getting found or anything. And so there's people in labs like right now just looking at slides of things, like putting crazy ideas together and like begging for like the funding to do it so that someone just looking at a microphone or microscope can see the 9 jump in the tracks and then find out what is killing these people and then eventually figure out how they can not die while that's still happening, or even design like a compound that can go into that organism to stop that gene.
That rascal.
Yeah, that's an ultimate rascal to out rascal Mother Nature.
Yeah.
Like that's a fucking prime rascal. And you know where you find rascals like that? My hometown. Philadelphia. We got rascal scientists. They're just like, nah, dog, I'm gonna find that shit out. I bet you that's what they do. I bet you at one point, one of them just jumps the fucking tracks and just jumps and just becomes a part of it. And then there's gonna be, I guarantee we're gonna see a 23 that's gonna be longer, and that's where it's at. And they'd found out how to code. They'd found out like gene theory and everything enough just in time to figure out that when that gene happens, that's what's happening. And like literally like almost like within weeks, like they'd like if I had gotten the diagnosis I gotten 10 years prior, there was just nothing they could do for me. Wow. There was just not, I was a week later just not going to wake up.
Miracles upon miracles.
But it was like good news, bad news. Okay. Well, so since it was found in Philadelphia by badass scientists at Drexel University, WKDU, best radio DJs and research scientists. It may have also been the University of Pennsylvania, actually. More I think it probably was, but like I said, they're right across this. They probably stopped and took a pee in Drexel campus on their way to Penn, if it was, or vice versa. It's all Philly. It's all love.
I might need to do that pretty soon.
Yeah, I got it too. I've been holding it. Yeah, I've been pinching it. Well, actually, we should probably come to an end soon. This has probably been like 3 hours.
Let's take care of business and then go through a couple more questions to
all
finish
right.
the thing off.
Drum roll,
Does that sound good?
Drum roll. Scientists, when they discover something, they can name it anything they want. Yeah. These scientists were like, "Yo, we can name it after our last. We can name it after us. We can call it Frank Zappa. We're gonna call it
the Zappa.
Which would be dope. But what made it, and also what made me not be frightened, not be freaking out at all. I was so stoked because if you're from Philly, you love Philly because it birthed you and you are amazing. And Philly made you and made you amazing. I didn't get diagnosed with leukemia. I got told I actually bleed Philly. Because the scientists decided to name it the Philadelphia chromosome. And so...
That's so insane.
Yeah, I'm so Philly. It's in my blood.
That's amazing.
Let's break there.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Seanward.
Whew. Yeah.
Fire cider?
I'm invigorated. I am full of vigor.
Wow. So,
yes.
We just took a little journey.
Yes,
that was really good I've always heard the vague outlines of these these
Yeah,
stories,
this
especially
actually-
the cancer story.
Yeah, because
And hearing it like that was awesome.
I'm really glad. I mean, it really was awesome to just be in this basement and like tell you.
Yeah, man.
Because it actually is. It's one of those things of like, it is so much, and like really when I unravel more of it, I mean, I think it might, I don't know, reveal some. It definitely. I mean, like even in telling it, like now because it's been over half a year, or I mean half. It's been over half a year since that.
Wow. Since you were 16.
Even more than half a year. It's been over half a lifetime.
Yeah, man.
I'm
I was thinking
34.
the same thing.
Yeah, I was 16 when I was diagnosed. So I remember when I turned 32 and I said, whoa, I was born. I am now midway between now and then. Was this. And yeah, I do even want to, so that was cool. That really was cool because it is,
Yeah.
and it's also, I can't just like, I can only mention it.
Yeah. By the way.
I can't not mention that I'm a cancer survivor at any point in a relationship I have with anybody, because then I would be withholding.
Yeah.
At a certain point,
It's part of what made Shane Rooney who he is.
Certainly.
Clearly.
yeah, it's like, oh, like between the ages of 16 and 18, you know, what were some things you did? Like, oh, like I had leukemia. I did a bunch of other shit too. But yeah, it has to be mentioned. But to the extent of it, yeah, there are all these little facets. And I would even love to go deeper at other times. But we've got questions from friends?
Yeah, it's about 4 in the morning. Well, yeah, just like
4 in the morning. At what point? I just want to know. At what point did questions from friends? Was this today?
No, just so I've been we planned this interview last week.
Yeah, we started talking serious about it last week. Yeah,
And I just, I'm a new interviewer.
Yeah.
So I thought I would get some good questions. I just asked people that I thought want to know more about you, maybe. What if they were in my shoes? If they were in this chair, what would they ask you? So I got some good ones.
Okay. Can I have a request?
I'm gonna crack a beer.
Crack a beer. Can I request something about this? About
Sure,
this space?
yeah.
Big ups to Chris for the first question. I knew Chris was really into that question about your hobbies attracting mates.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I did that question due justice, but
I kind of, it actually framed the whole show in a way.
yeah, I'm glad, and because it really is, it was, and I started cooking that up like before I kissed a girl. I think,
No,
which is a weird
it's
thing.
biology.
Yeah, and I also recognize I dated. I had a romantic relationship, intimate relationship with an asexual person who I don't think would agree maybe on the based on her perspective, but also I don't know, because it could have been at that time. I don't know if that was all that made sense. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows?
As a blanket statement, I think it actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But of course, on the individual level, there's going to be different. It's a glorious spectrum.
And I mean, even the same way too. Yeah, humans, it's all mating, like social status, everything.
It's all survival. That's what it comes to. It's biology.
And
It's
then
life.
Factor in
We'll find a way.
We're primates too. There's primate shit too. But yeah, I guess also moral of the story: watch more nature films. Watch more nature films. Watch more nature films. Watch more nature films. So okay. Oh, here's my request though. That for the question from friends, I want to know the question, and then once I'm going to give myself 5 minutes to answer every question. And then at the end
I like the structure.
At the end of the answer, once I have said the end, then I want you to tell me who asked the question.
Oh, thanks for saying that. I was going to tell you before, but I like this
I
idea.
know.
Yeah.
I kind of assumed that. Yeah. That's because then it'll be really. I think it'll be special. They're completely unbiased. Yeah. I'm all about. I love watching movies without watching the. I love trailers in themselves as an art form.
Yeah.
But if I'm gonna go watch a movie, I'm going off the title. I don't even like when I see a poster of it. it fills my head with something. I want to go in blind to everything I do. So I think I am ready to answer.
All right. So a lot of it was I would just text these people.
Oh, that's
They're mutual friends of both of ours.
Assume.
All of them.
Yes.
That I'm interviewing Shane. Do you have any ideas for questions to ask? And this person just said 2 words: prostitute stories.
Oh. Okay. I'm gonna be brave.
All right. You know,
I'm gonna tell.
it's totally up to you what
I'm gonna be,
know.
dude. 2 words: prostitute stories. Yes, and I am a Catholic. I'm a Catholic rascal. I'm gonna go there. Because I have taught lots of children, and I've hunted for crack at 5 a.m. At times.
we might need to get through this podcast.
I have.
We're right by the Orange Street Bridge.
Yep, I've done some things that like maybe I could even look at and say that is remarkable in a certain light. And then I've done some things that also like, that's remarkable in a not so similar light. Okay, so here I was. The one, when I hear prostitute stories, I don't think I think I've got my prostitute story. I really don't think I've got many stories. I'm a man of many stories, but I don't think I've had any. To me, I've got my one prostitute story. I was a trainman. I was an Amtrak train conductor. I was going to college. This was after I had cancer, and it was very much like after you have this and so I'm skipping past my bone marrow transplant, the actual treatment of the leukemia.
We're clearly gonna have to do another
7
episode.
hells, stacked. It was.
Went through all layers.
The Iliad, the Odyssey, the Aeneid, the bone marrow transplant, the gauntlet. Yeah. And I respect, in all respect to it's the experience of it. Like I was just a part of that. Like there's no ego so that's skipping that. And so after that, so then I go to college. I get a scholarship for staying alive. And actually it was because I was like this track standout. And then I got leukemia. There are actual scholarships for athletes who are no longer athletes because of cancer.
Wow.
Yeah, silver linings. And so I was wanting to go to St. Joseph's University in Philadelphia. It is Philadelphia's Jesuit university. They got fucking gargoyles of Jesuit the headmasters of the school in their ivy and Hawk Hill. It's a beautiful campus, and Jesuits just have a rich tradition of thinking. They're like monks of thought. And they're under the Catholic umbrella, but there's always a bunch of Catholics that don't consider them Catholics because they've always been down with gays. They're humanist, which by definition is kind of against some Christians are not humanists. The human experience is so low, but they give value to the human experience. They never ban books because the conscience they believe is a real thing, and you need to exercise your own conscience. Once somebody starts telling you can't be exposed to this, then they're controlling you. So the Jesuits, they're okay. But the Jesuits are also an order of priests. They also they evangelize. They did. Yeah, I'm sure. No, they're not known for good things too. Whatever. Yeah. So I wanted to go to this college, and it turned out it was just a bunch of fucking rich kids just on this path to get richer. Wouldn't you know, the American university system, I found it to be this capitalist schema.
I'm baffled.
Dude, I thought I was going to have scars from all of the chin stroking. I thought I was never going to be able to grow a beard, actually, because it was just going to be this place where we're just like, oh, let's think about it. I hated it. I hated college. And It was like a Northeast private college too, even worse than that. And I wasn't rich, so I didn't know the jokes. I didn't get any of the inside jokes. I was outcast, but I did. So I was the cancer kid. I was the kid on the cancer scholarship. So I hung out with all the other outcasts on the outcast scholarships.
Yes.
My gal had like the Native American scholarship, all the minorities. It was cool, and we hung out in the gazebo on campus all the time. There was one gazebo. Oh, it was like a private college. The only non-traditional students or whatever. There's like the older lady who had the wheelie bag, and it was great. We smoked a lot of cigarettes together. So I did a really bad job at the 5-minute. Okay, prostitute. I'm talking about a prostitute story. Fuck.
Well, we're gonna start it now.
Yep. All right.
You have to paint.
Okay.
You can't tell a story without painting. Setting the scene.
So I busted out of that spot. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I didn't survive to live a life of bullshit. I'm sorry. That's whack. And I'm sorry if you did get your business degree, and you are just pushing that. I'm sorry.
Well, it's not what you do, it's how you're doing it.
I am. Yeah. So if you are one of those capitalists, please tell me you invented something so dope that it is worth your pursuit of money for money's sake. Otherwise, please stop pursuing money for money's sake. So I was just living my life, and I was like, yo, I need to work on the railroad. I need to get out of this world. I need a blue-collar job. Blue collar is my kind of life. I want to work on the railroad all the live long day. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah, and I'm gonna find out. If I'm lucky, I might be that guy. So, my pops had worked for Amtrak. Coincidentally, he had worked since he was a kid. Just hung in there, and got to the point where he would know when they were hiring new rounds of train conductors. And I was like, Pops, I can't do it. I can't do it no more. I need to work on the railroad. You got to get me out of this Ivy prison. He was like, all right, yeah, they are hiring a new batch of conductors right now. Dude, you got to take like the SAT. You got to take a round of tests. They don't let just anybody be an Amtrak train conductor. You got to know a thing or two. And then you have to go to train school. Train school, I'll skip the train school stories. But you ever watch like Police Academy, Gutenberg, those movies in the 80s?
I never have.
Ski School, all that shit. They could totally have made a movie called Train School. We lived in, oh God, crazy shit. So train conductors are by historically a wild bunch. It used to be the youngest person on the lowest seniority train person would be the brakeman. Back before they had air brakes, where air pushes so hard on these brake pads that it locks, it stops the wheels. They used to get ropes and like anvils essentially, and a dude would have to like tie a rope around this wheel, and most of the time they'd lose some fingers. That would be the brakeman, and so then as once automatic brakes were invented, the brakeman's job pretty much turned into getting all the drugs that the other conductors would need. Usually it's booze. It's mostly booze and cocaine business. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's a party on the train all the time. There's a couple derailments and terrible accidents occurred up until the Super Bowl in 93, 94. There was two trains crashed because they were partying in the locomotive, in the engine. It was a freight train and an Amtrak train, and it was bad. And so they did crack down a lot after that, but still very wild. And so this is when I was living. Yeah, I dropped out of college. I was making a mad loot. They pay train conductors good. You're just living on the railroad. I mean, a lot of overtime. 5 days out of the week, I'd pretty much be on the passenger wearing the whole suit and like all aboard. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Amtrak train 127, the all regional express to Miami. This is making scheduled station stops at Newark, Metro Park, Trenton, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Newark, Delaware, Wilmington, Delaware, Baltimore and our switching crews stop at Washington D.C. This train's been brought to you by the letter A. Whatever. I was that guy. And I had mad money to spend, but I had very few days off. Oh, yeah, then one day I'd be working like in the train yard, like parallel parking, just tons of machinery and shit.
Yeah.
Good times, fast times, hard times, quick money. I would get out of work, money in my pocket, hungry for drugs and excitement and sex, because I'm 21, and I got this big mustache. I'm a train conductor finally. That's when I grew a beautiful train conductor mustache, and straight up NYC, Times Square. In the 80s, it was nothing but 70s, 80s, nothing but pimps and prostitutes. In the early 2000s, at night, that's still a spot where a gorgeous woman will approach you and offer her company for prices of thousands of dollars, if that is, and other nominal, the more reasonable nominations. But really, I was just hungry for it all, and so
You had that money.
And Times Square is a place where anytime I'd be on any drugs, Times Square is also a place where like you will wind up in Times Square. When you're downtown New York, a lot of the energy flows into Times Square. So I got done my train. I might have had like a day off. That might have been something I was doing. But I remember, and I was boozing hard. I was young and boozing hard. And also I was still unpacking a lot of the what the fuck did I go through in that bone marrow transplant era. And like, fuck all that. Like, I don't like, what is life? I was just surrounded by all these people, like all these capitalists trying to become pharmaceutical executives, and sports marketers. Those were my college's two big things: sports marketing and pharmaceutical marketing. So we had Jerry Maguire's. I went to college with Jerry Maguire and the guy that Martin Scarelli. The guy that bought the Wu-Tang,
the Pharma bro,
and was like, that's who I went to college with. That was what
literally at the same time.
No. But
from that
people
school.
who wanted to be like him.
Yeah,
people were like, that's gonna get me laid.
That's the archetype.
Yeah, and so I thought I was gonna be stroking chins with thought monks. Boy.
Yeah.
Boy,
I can see why you got out of there.
Like drinking drug teas, and shit all the days. That's what I thought it'd be. I'm sure I, made some teas. I digress. So yeah, there was a prostitute one day. Of course, you get offered enough. And I also, big ups to Holden Caulfield. Big ups. Everybody's a phony. It's catching the rye. If a body catches a body, come through the eye. Rye. He'll tell you that there ain't nobody who's as fresh as I. That's what I say. Catching the Rye. If you haven't read it, it's a book. Check it out. Go to the library. Literally, check it out. But in that book, no spoilers, Holden Caulfield has an incident with a prostitute. And he doesn't finish, and the pimp ends up punching him in the face. My prostitute story is similar. I want to do it all. I want to experience everything. I want to have cancer and live to tell about it. I want to go careening down a mountain, break the fuck out of my leg, and live and tell about it. I want to do these things. I want to have a Times Square prostitute story, I guess, apparently, but once it presented itself to me, I said, yeah, I'm living. There's no way I'm going to turn this down. So, it might've been like a $200 scenario, I think. The more I think about it, I think
Is that the lower end?
yeah. That was the lowest I saw, but actually, I think mine might have been more of like a $60 kind of deal. The more I think about it, it worked itself out. Yeah. So there was this gal. She looked a little bit kind of like, cold in the sense that like she was new, um, didn't have that swagger that the $4,000 woman had. She had it going on. Dude, anybody who like knows, like, yeah, dude, you got $4,000, you can have me for an hour. That's a great fucking rate. That's a G. That's a G. You know what you're doing. Even just like, your worth. That's what's up. And there is a certain rawness of life where like that is actually where I want to be. I want to talk about that. And that exchange, even like where. And she was like, dude, you don't have the ability. Like, so this is a learning experience for you. But like now, you're not even like, no, like, but nice, nice try. And also too, yeah, I don't even know, like there actually was this guy, like, and she did fucking have it going on that far, like that. I don't know. Because that is also kind of unusual too. Like, what, you're just like unrepresented, you're just there, But no, I think because I did talk to her, I think she says like, yeah, I only do, like, I do this once in a while. When I won $4,000, anytime I won $4,000, and I was like, that's what's up. So
it's a good monthly rate.
Yeah, I got myself more of like a more affordable model. But we also, so I ended up like, she did have somebody like representing her. So it was like, or working with her, like and a male, and he, John, whatever. And we ended up getting, like, we all got beer at the 7-Eleven. Did my trick of putting them into the big gulps, because you can't have open containers.
Right.
And so then we were just like walking around, kind of like talking about it, and like, okay, are we gonna do it? And to tell you the truth, I was just trying to paint the town red. I was just drinking, like,
yeah.
And I was like, yeah, dude, I got money in my pocket, like, yeah, knuck if you buck, I got some money. And we did end up like, so it's important to note that I had my mom's cell phone on me. My mom, like, I wasn't living with her somehow, like, because I had lost my own cell phone from some poor decisions I had made. I don't know, I guess like a night prior, 2 nights prior. And so my mom's somehow, I don't know, she's just like, hey, you need a phone, because I need to get like called for work, because the way it worked on the Amtrak sitch, I had to have 1 day off a week. And then that one day I was just on call. And so I would, after you work, like, you can only work 16 hours at a time, and then you need to have 8 hours off. But I was basically working 16 hours, 8 hours off, 16 hours more. All the live long day, they don't joke. Yeah, I've been working on that railroad. I was approaching my day off, and she was like, yeah, you take my phone for the next couple of days. Tell the train peeps, the train master. That's the guy that is like the boss of the conductors. The train master is going to call you at any time. So have my phone and tell him to call that. I was like, oh, Ma, that's so sweet. Is that a good mother, or is this enabling? I don't know. But yeah, so my mom just gives me her cell phone. So she goes phoneless. And it's not like we were, so my mom gives me her phone, and I go gallivanting. And then we end up, there's like a brownstone, like that style of New York home, which is like gorgeous. And this was like, Midtown Manhattan. And I forget the story of how this guy, I think the guy who owned a house was just like, there is that, like, that basement entrance. There's like, like the door that like opens from the ground, whatever. And there's some steps, and it was like, it was weird. And for whatever reason, my brain is telling me $60. Like $60 was the deal. And then like we get to, it's just me and her, and like I got to get a little bit of story. Like, she was one of those peeps that was like from Nebraska, and like didn't want to be in Nebraska. And it was just like, all I know is like, I got to go to New York City. And she knows, this guy, and she's like, oh man, wait, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. And she's like, yeah, like I always thought like maybe, like I could, like it's the oldest profession, but also this is this was before a lot of like the normativity of sex work.
Exactly.
Like nowadays, like this is what we're talking about is like, yeah, absolutely, consent and make that money, and like fuck anybody who has a problem with that. Because it actually is fucking powerful, helpful, all that shit. So, sex workers, do your thing. And thank you. But at this time, it was also like, again, that mix of like, also, this was 2006. This is also like still in toxic masculinity, running the shit. Yeah. But me also figuring out my own sexuality. Me also, figuring out, because I had weird sex hangups growing up Catholic, like fire and brimstone. Like we have 5 kids in our family, but sex is wrong. Real like weird message stuff. And I was born this freak. Like I was all about it, but with this repressed upbringing. It was it was a trip. So this is all like a part of like because I even did have issues and hangups of like actually approaching like women who I did want to engage with sexually. I know how to do it, so I need some practice too. Whatever. But I'm an empath. Like I don't know. The situation wasn't right. On this night, and so me and this gal, we the guy who set us up, got us his basement. He lets us down there, and she's like, all right, like, you got protection. And I was like, yeah. And as soon as like it was time to do it, the story's over. Like I got a prostitute. I didn't want to have sex. And I was fucking drunk by that point too. So like, I probably wasn't going to be that good at it. So I did. I was like, yo, take the money no matter what. Like here you go. And it's like, is this enough like for you? Like, are you, like how much money do you need to get by? Like to be okay, just for your life. And she's like, this is fine. And then it was like, well, all right, well, like come on, like we did actually entertain this notion long enough because she wouldn't mind. And I wouldn't mind. So we're like, all right, yeah, maybe this arranged marriage could lead to love. But it was mostly like, we also were good on us. We were also very safe. And even before any, what base is it? Is it second base when you start petting?
I believe so.
Yeah, we started protection right away. So you, which is also just showing how blue both of us were. Yeah. Like, because she was like, yeah, I'm playing role of prostitute right now. Even though I'm not a prostitute, I'm playing the role of like, I'm getting a prostitute. Even though I'm fucking like scared, like boy, whatever. And he was actually mostly just trying to get a feather for his cap. And so I guess that's really that. And then so yeah, we end up just like, you know what? No, let's never see each other ever again for the rest of our lives. And let's just get out of this basement. Let's drink some more beers before we go our ways.
That is something else.
Yeah, it's my prostitute story.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, that's maybe not the ending you would expect, but at the same time, I mean, it makes sense.
I think anybody who knows me,
you want it to be real.
That's the prostitutes. That's my prostitute story. But now, like, in the age that we're in now, like, I will tell you, I have been going through a breakup and, getting my groove back, moving through. I would totally, in in the post breakup phase that I was going through, I would pay a consenting person to have physical intimacy, to help just get my mind off of that previous physical. So I do at the beginning, middle, and end of the day support safe and capitalistic sex work. So that's that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm right there with you.
damn it! I blew it. It would have been dope if I, instead of saying that's that is a good thing to say. But I did allude to saying the end. And then that's the cue for the reveal. Whose question was?
Well, I texted Nathan.
Ah!
It was,
To
and it wasn't a.
prostitute stories.
No,
yeah, I think that I really do.
Well, the 2 words part was my way of describing it. He didn't text me. He
yeah.
didn't text me back. 2 words, prostitute story. That was my way of explaining the text to you.
Cool. Yeah.
Should we hit some more?
Yeah. I'm gonna go.
right.
The only indicator I'm gonna have is when my light goes off
Yeah.
on my camera.
Yeah, it's that one was more of a setup for stories, which explains why it could take a long time.
Yes.
The rest of these are a little more just like answer. So
Okay. Good. Taking it.
all right. So I reached out to another one of our friends, and he came back with 3 ideas for questions.
Dope.
All right. What is your favorite acoustic guitar part in any song?
Okay, the first part, dude, my brain just said Jessica by the Allman Brothers, but the acoustic guitar in that is pretty whack.
Oh, I can't think of that song.
I mean, because
right
it's
now.
the hook is. And then but then there is just a part in where it's really just like held fretted. Okay. Oh, dude, there's so many. I mean, flamenco, dude. Flamenco gets me hard.
Same.
Oh, yeah.
That's,
Woo.
that's the real deal.
Woo. But it's on the spot. Oh shit. I mean, D'Angelo plays a mean acoustic guitar. You Should Be Here. Is that acoustic? You Should Be Here. Raphael Sadiq and D'Angelo. I want to say it might
That's
be even flamenco inspired. Let's see. I guess another thing. It's an acoustic bass. Does that count?
it's an acoustic bass guitar.
Yeah. The first time I actually really realized oh, that's an acoustic bass. On the Chappelle Show when Wyclef.
Oh man, that is.
If I was the
ridiculous.
president,
That is.
be elected on Friday, assassinated on Saturday, buried on Sunday, back to work on Monday. If I was the president. So that's dope. That even one of my favorite hip hop artists, introduced me what an acoustic bass guitar was. So big ups to Wyclef, big ups to Chappelle Show, big ups to Questlove, who was the musical director of the Chappelle Show. Big ups to Questlove, who this past year, sometimes I've just had enough. I'm just no, I'm not going to listen to Questlove's podcast. No, I'm not going to watch him DJ another 3-hour set of bangers and streaming together this narrative of contemporary music and pop culture throughout this quarantine. where people are talking about like, oh, there's nothing going on, and meanwhile, Questlove is like saving culture, and giving so much further legitimacy to the black genius, to the hip hop voice of humanity, and so big ups to Questlove.
Staying creative.
I mean, like, maybe also Questlove, shame on you for selling your soul to the devil, because that's the only way any of this shit is possible. He's lived 7 lifetimes in one lifetime to know all that he knows and to have made all the music that he's made. So if you did, thanks.
Yeah.
I'll see you.
I understand.
I'll see you down there. And I guess so. Yeah. That's what comes to mind right now. Good questions. That is a good enough question to warrant a follow up.
Yep.
Same caller.
Same caller. Do you prefer all it said was raven or magpie. So I guess that's which is your favorite animal of those two corvid birds?
Yo. 2 birds.
Going into your favorite animals. This is a real
I
specific.
respect so hard.
Yeah, we share the corvid fascination.
Dude, so I grew up no crows, no magpies. I heard bands like the Black Crows. I would watch those old Disney movies with the crows.
That's what came to mind for me too.
And I was like, fuck, I want to be there. I had pigeons. And hawks. Yeah, mad hawks. Phillies, there's a lot, because especially like in most of the, because most of my childhood was in the burbs. A lot of hawks. Blue jays. Pigeons everywhere, seagulls. A lot of fucking seagulls in the Philly area and suburban, like not really near the sea. Just all that garbage. They're just nonstop. Once they get on shore, it's just like, oh, so much garbage. Field hockey fields. I don't know why, but our field hockey team at my high school always had pink eye, because it just fucking shit all over their field. They had goose too, a lot of geese. And people were like, oh. So anyway, but so I came out in magpies, and I always thought in Kill Bill, at the end of Kill Bill 2, her daughter, she kills Bill. Oh, sorry, spoiler. And her daughter, who's just like, Mommy, you're the most beautiful girl in the whole wide world. And she's like, oh my God, I need to kill your dad and live with you forever because you're so fresh. They're like on the run. Yeah. It's like the first day of the rest of their lives. And there's this like old school, there's like trippy, just old. I think just old cartoons are just trippy because it's like, whoa, all old animations just by nature trippy.
So cool.
Yeah. And there was, I don't know, it might have been a crow, but I always thought that what they're saying is, when it's always good luck to be blessed with a magpie. And then so when I come to Montana, I see these cool looking birds. And I'm like, good God, what is that? And someone's like, that's a magpie. And I say, oh, it's a miracle. I'm going to have good luck. I'm going to be blessed. I'm blessed. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Magpies suck. And
who was that?
Somebody grew up, I don't know, apparently they had like magpies in certain areas. Magpies can be like, they can be bullies. They can be like really into your trash. They squawk. They're not pretty. And so I think this boyhood had a lot of like squawking magpies. And his mom would even give him a buck. She gave him a slingshot. And she's like, here's a buck. Here's an incentive for your first magpie you kill.
A hired assassin of magpies.
Yeah. And I was just like, dang, that sucks.
It's gruesome.
But crows. Oh, wait, raven? The question was raven. It was raven or magpie.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, raven.
Wow. That was,
yeah.
So
because
after all that, it seemed pretty easy to make the decision.
yeah, because there was like 3 of my strongest lovers. Two actually. No, I think actually it's just 2, but maybe 3. Had like Raven spirit. If you know, you know. And so I guess that's why. Yeah, I have more of a personal connection to Raven.
Raven has this feminine allure to you. The spirit.
And also, and like I like big birds. I like ravens are it's dope. I love when I'm like, yo, is that a fucking like awesome eagle? And then it gets I'm like, oh no, that's a big ass blackbird. A genius. Fucking like they're because I think ravens are fucking powerful.
Yeah. I mean, the all black makes him a little more mysterious, I think.
I think we saw a raven going to Ponyfest or 2. I remember now that we're talking about that. I think there was a black beaked. Now, are there yellow beaked ravens?
Not that I know of, but
okay. Ravens do have black beaks.
I don't know my birds. I don't really know the difference between crows and ravens. I guess I feel like
because
ravens are usually bigger.
Yeah, ravens are bigger. Yeah. I have at times this. Yeah, I don't have it memorized.
They're all those same spooky.
Yeah.
Way too smart kind of birds.
And I think there is because ravens typically don't flock. They don't gather. They don't murder. They don't murder. Oh, but there is at the top of Stewart's Peak in Missoula. There is I guess it's a murder because it's a bunch of them. But like they do seem it's like at the tops of the mountains, like the old growth, the oldest trees are up there and all that shit. There are some crows up there, some blackbirds that are, they're more than regular birds. If anyone in the local area in Missoula, go to the top of Stewart's Peak. They're always there. Over the years I've gone there, and they just pass their secrets down. And I think also because if you're a crow, you can go down into town, and then you can just fly to the top of Stewart's Peak.
Yeah, why not?
And they must also they must be like the top crows too, if you're up there. And sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I even wonder. I'm like, wait, are you all ravens? And maybe they are.
Well, any of our avian experts, write in.
Let us
know.
I was I was an ornithologist for a minute.
Yeah. There's a third part here.
Yes.
This one's really mysterious to me. So our friend asked, and this will be cool if you know, because this is not something that I've studied. But do you know? Hopefully, I'm wording it right. I kind of did a shorthand version of it for this note. But do you know the purpose of Joseph, the husband of Jesus' mom, in the Bible story, or something like that?
Do I know the purpose of Joseph? I know a lot about Joseph.
It seemed like he was asking, like, what was, like, if it was just a story, like a fable, what was the like,
dude,
the moral
this is probably supposed to go back to Jesus's the way it's worded, I want it to be answered with Jesus's grandma, but that would be Saint Anne. I fucking love Saint Anne for that. Saint Anne was Mary's mother. But Joseph, okay, I don't know if there's any, like, Joseph is, talk about toxic masculinity. Joseph's task was ultimate humility, I think.
Yeah.
If God is going to be born, there needs to be a male to know that you are not the one that made it.
Yeah.
And you are still, like at that time, I think like that's a miracle in itself. There's the Immaculate Conception where Mary got knocked up by the Holy Spirit. But Joseph was like, okay, so you didn't fuck anybody? And you're pregnant? Okay. Okay, so
All right.
a ghost? No, an angel told you, and so God knocked you up. And you didn't fuck anybody to get pregnant. It was a miracle of God. Yes, I believe you. That's a miracle. All he had to do is like, yo, not mine. Stone the bitch. But no, she was like, for real. God is in my God now decided God's gonna take man form, and I'm going to incubate it. You're gonna be the dad, and not be or you're gonna be the father. And you're not gonna be the dad. And he was like, sure. That's what I love. So many people are like, gay people are bad. I read the Bible, and I'm like, yo, the greatest miracle of the Bible is Joseph. Yeah. Actually, I kind of just pieced that together just by that. Yeah, but that is
we're processing a lot.
Yeah, dude, don't be afraid of religion. For real, if you're smart, you can understand religion and why people would have it and how it can relate to your lives. Damn. Yeah, let's all be Josephs.
That works for me.
Less fucking, good. More raisin, more trusting. Yeah. Dude, that's also ultimate trust. That's ultimate trust. I look for that opportunity in my next relationship.
Yeah.
To be like that. Like, you're pregnant and I didn't fuck you. And I believe you. That because you have no reason to have me not trust you. You're a down human. You are a down partner. You are raising God, man. With me. We're doing it. Ho, ho. The end. Who said that?
I mean, that was those were Larry's inquiries.
What? Larry actually probably wanted to know because he doesn't.
I wondered why that one came up.
Larry Hirschberg. Wow. That's how I know I made it. Larry Hirschberg is asking questions of me.
I mean, that's
what a legendary G.
Yep. That's always just the fact that we
get
to jam with him always makes me feel like we've made it.
Oh my God. Yeah. Dude, it was so dope to have every Brute Finesse show we do have the people who were losing their minds over Larry also see that I was on stage with him.
Yeah.
Like that was the best part of all the shows that we played. Mm-hmm. It's so awesome. Next.
Should we all right, so there's only one more contestant on Ask Coach Shane.
Yeah.
And it's a two-parter.
Two-part.
Should we send it? You know? Actually, this is going to be
nothing left to it but to do it, Boogie Babies. Let's do it.
This is going to be a good one to end.
Yeah, this one's for the books. This one's not for the books. This one's for the video and the people only listening right now.
Yes.
This is what happens.
Yep.
I've been up all day. I've been working all day. And then what happens to other people when they get tired, I start
gyrating?
Start gyrating my pelvis. Yeah, I can't.
I guess it's more of a thrust.
Yeah. It's uncontrollable thrusts. Yeah. Okay.
What's your favorite rodent?
That's a fucking great question.
Yeah, I love the nature theme, the nature thread we've carried through this.
Are squirrels rodents?
Is a squirrel different than a squirrel?
No, I just kind of like seeing it like that.
I think, yeah.
A squirrel, yeah.
They are.
Dude,
yeah.
Dude, red squirrels. Red squirrels.
Is that an East Coast thing?
No, it's I think it's a UK thing.
Oh.
And even limited within, I think more like only like Scotland and stuff. But they've got like tufted ears, and quite remarkable blokes, I'll tell you. And more, yeah, definitely reddish, more red hair. But also capybaras. Capybaras are the biggest rodents.
Oh.
They're like the South American
Beasts.
capybaras. Capyara. Capybaras. They are really neat. They're like pig size, and they sort of even like trot like pigs a little bit. Whoa. Yeah. They get laid.
They're mammoth rodents.
Yeah. I think about gray squirrels, the ones that we have all over here. If they had rat tails, they would be horrific. If their tails weren't fluffy. And that's all you give.
It would be rats.
You give rats fluffy tails and be like, oh, look at him go, just scurry about.
Right, it's all about the tail,
dude. You give
a rat couldn't.
Ew, we would have if gray squirrels had rat tails. People would just be screaming.
Right.
Ew.
But if you had bushy-tailed rodents invading your home. And pooping everywhere.
Squirrels in the home is a thing where it gets real.
It can happen.
It gets real for
but
sure.
It's much less common than the rats in the home.
It's
or
not
the mice in here in Missoula anyway.
I think you get more afraid of like a squirrel might bite. Like, I think you do have fear, but it's just the disease. But squirrels are just as disease ridden as rats would be. They get in all the same shit.
Yeah, they just don't hang out inside as much.
Yeah, and they might not be as wet because rats will get a little more subterranean, but I think that is all I have to say about rodents. Thank you for asking. I'm a lover of all creatures, and I don't know if I actually particularly spend enough time on the rodents, but that's what I got on the rodents. I am ready for round 2, though.
Yeah. All right. So this good friend of ours also wants to know, and I did like the shorthand versions of the things that now I'm like trying to reconstruct, and it's
right.
But I think that's the essence of it. What he was wondering is, if you could be someone else and live their life, who would this person be?
Yo, I always wanted. I mentioned this at one point, like when we started doing different samples in Tasty. Mm-hmm. There's this movie. Tasty is a Brute Finesse jam. Once we start, and Brute Finesse has always been a whether you've seen us live or not, everything we're doing is Brute Finesse. But we do shows too, and we would switch the samples in this one song a lot, and vocal samples. We had a scene from the Wiz for a while. Quincy Jones's The Wizard of Oz. Go see it. Diana Ross and Michael Jackson. That's where it all started.
That's wild.
And that's where Michael Jackson. That was when he fully shed the child Michael, and then went on to make then became the King of Pop. But there's this movie called Fresh. It's got Samuel L. Jackson, like alcoholic dad, chess master in New York City, in the city. It's about this young kid who becomes like a drug dealing phenom, kind of accidentally, willy-nilly. There's this one scene. I watched it when I was in 8th grade, I think, for the first time. And this scene just knocked me out, just moved me to no end. This kid asked another kid, says, if you could be anyone else in the world, if you could trade places with anyone else in the world, who'd you trade places with? And this young kid looked his friend in the eye. Said, I never wanted to be anybody else but me.
Yeah.
And I have kind of held that down because I do even when I'm like really upset with myself, even when I am forced to do the work to figure out how am I going to get myself out of this one? Because I've really screwed the pooch. I mean, speaking of ex, like one time I tried to drive my favorite ex of all my exes. I tried to drive my ex's car up a mountain, and like on a hiking trailhead. I really thought this was gonna work, and God bless her, she was in California, and so I took her car, and then I got it stuck on the mountain, and I had to get it. Had to take care of that one. And so even
in spite of that, you still
even with
it's
all
still
that,
you.
because because it's just such a knuckle brain at times, or knucklehead. And I am also tell you, I'm excited to. I am going to do, and I am excited to do what I'm going to do. Do I have very specific goals for what I feel I need to do? No. But do I have faith that it's going to be nuts? Yeah. I've no reason to doubt that in another year from now, there will probably be this much time. There will be stories because the more I do, the more they come. And it's the truth. And so, I know, because it would have to be like a dinosaur would be the only other,
I don't think I can accept a cop out here. You got to check a
Okay.
You got to get another human being.
Okay, that would have been a good end of the episode, but also almost too good of an episode too. Or
You got to pick someone.
Okay, fine. Ben fucking Franklin, dude. Straight up.
There we go.
I love how this round went, where I'll give a really lengthy bullshit. And then just, oh no, this
Tag it.
Answer. One word, Ben Franklin. Enough said. But yeah, the most famous Philadelphian.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Saved America. He won the Revolutionary War. He convinced the French to finally kick the British's ass when we were not going to win. And only because he was a celebrity. Celebrities out there listening, I know you are. It's time to fucking save the world, because you're the ones who are going to save the world, because you're the only one anyone listens to. Celebrities, save the world. Do it. For all the celebrities that are listening. Ben Franklin was a motherfucking celebrity. He was a rascal. He was the rascal king. Dude, have you heard any of the rascal stories of Ben Franklin?
I can't. They're not coming back to me right now.
Yo, he was a dog.
Yeah, that's the impression that I have.
Yeah. But he also, made sure he went swimming a little bit, tried to every day. Back when the Schuylkill River was oil punch, I think. I don't know really where it was. So I'm sure there was clean water too in some places. But he invented bifocals, invented the first zoo, invented the first hospital, I believe also. No, he couldn't have invented the first hospital. The oldest hospital in Philadelphia was started by him. Said bifocals, the Poor Richard's Almanac, all those fucking proverbs. He's got more proverbs than the Bible, just about. Electricity. I forgot about that bit. Dude, and partied hard. Benjamin
He was a mover and a shaker.
Yeah. But I would probably actually I'd rather be his next door neighbor. I'd rather switch places with next door neighbor so I could kick it with Ben Franklin all the time. I don't want to be Ben Franklin. He
a lot of
wasn't
pressure.
Yeah, he was not hot at all. He was not. I don't. He was.
Maybe for in his time. I mean, it seems like he got
I-
the ladies.
Oh, he got the ladies. Yeah. I mean, well, because it's not what you.
You'd rather be his hot neighbor that could get the other ladies.
It's not what you're doing. It's how you're doing it.
Yeah.
It's not what you look like. It's how you make them feel. You know, it's all that.
Benny boy.
Benny boy, Ben Franklin. So that's my word right there. America, thank you very much. It's been great. If I could be anybody in the world, it's gonna be a far cry. It's only gonna be unless you give me the opportunity to be a dinosaur, Ben Franklin. I'm happy to be who I am. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, that's fair. You know, your bar is high. That's okay.
I am a rascal, and yeah, I have done bad things. If anyone actually like has listened at all, that may have wondered, like, yeah, like there's been times where I have fell from grace, and also there's been times where I've gotten myself back up to a respectable point, and that's what life is all about. Fuck up and get your shit together again, but don't not fuck up because you're playing it so safe that you're not going to take action.
Yeah.
That's one thing where I am proud of myself for. I have fucked up a lot because I have done a lot.
Yeah, that's the line that you got to find.
Yeah, and what I don't know. What a way to. That's how we should end it after 4 hours, and I don't know.
All right, I think that's perfect.
Yeah, and I don't know. Good times. Good. Yeah, good session. I do actually go interview some other people. I also want to interview people too. But I want to come back. I want to have more.
Yeah. No,
okay.
We need to do a train episode about just because I've heard teasers of stories.
This is the pilot. And absolutely an episode on the train and an episode on the bone marrow transplant.
Yeah.
Because the bone marrow transplant is its own world. It's got comedy, it's got tragedy, it's got horror, it's got suspense, it's got drama. The train, you will laugh, you will be shocked. You won't cry during that part. No part without cry. There might be a part in the bone marrow transplant part that actually it might make you cry. And then there could be we can do other. Oh shit! The times I've gotten arrested, or kicked off of airplanes.
Yeah, that's what came to mind.
Yeah. Oh my god! Here's teaser. Yeah, how about when I was handcuffed to the wall of the New York City police station that's 6 floors below Madison Square Garden.
That was involved with your train time, right? Yes.
Okay. That falls under. That's a bridge.
I have heard parts of that one.
Yeah.
But I would love to.
Yeah. Every time I've been revoked. Okay. When I got kicked out of Pittsburgh.
The whole town was.
The chief of police told me, yeah.
You better stick.
I had to get on the next bus out of town, and if
better
you
not see your face here again.
He'd lock me up on site. Yeah,
that's not.
The
Well,
chief
maybe
of
a lot
Pittsburgh.
of people can say that, but it's still pretty.
That
solid.
was more of an old school thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great honor that
exactly.
in the great year of 2006, I was banished from Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well.
Yep. All right. Stay tuned, America.
Yep.
We got lots of stories to come.
I'm Sean. This was Shane.
Yep. I'm Shane, and that was Sean.
And we're gonna sign off. More to come.
Until next time, friends.
All right. Love you, man.
Love you. Sweet dreams. Oh, Sean, that was really fun. That was just really fun.
Oh, it's still rocking.
If anything, it's essential hangout.
Yeah. No, I needed that.
Wow, dude.